Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, March 18th, 2022, and this sports show begins right now. Yeah. Hope you all had an incredible St. Patrick's Day and day one of March Madness. Upsets were aplenty. The madness has already begun. It's a glorious time to be alive. We're live 11 to 2 today as I head to Charlotte, North Kakalaka for Smack Dahn tonight. I can't wait for it. All the boys are here. The Talks Table at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. Tone, how you doing in your March Madness bets?
I was 5-3 yesterday.
Hey.
Take it.
Hey, not easy to predict what the hell's going to go on. At Bubba Gumpino in the back, what the other half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, how'd you do?
I stink right now, Pat.
Okay.
Good to know.
Okay, you'll turn it around. But you might stink at picking games right now, but your entire life doesn't stink.
Exactly.
I would like to tell a tale about a man whose entire life stinks right now.
Yeah.
Okay? And we put together a little cut-up to further illustrate how potentially just disheartened this one man has to be. And I have to let everybody know, although this man does have colitis, and this man does drink like an absolute booze bag, he happens to be one of the funniest humans on earth. And he is currently in the middle of a life-sucking situation.
Big time.
This week has really put a spotlight on his life-sucking. And I would like to remind everybody what has happened. This is all the way from Monday until yesterday for the great Ty Schmidt.
He's been one of the best receivers in the NFL for several years now, and he's still never really got that big money deal. He's kind of taken a hometown discount to stay with the Packers and keep playing with Rodgers. So, like, it makes perfect sense that he's like, hey, this is bullshit. Like, I've helped you guys out quite a few times here. It's time that I get broken off, but I'm fully confident that they will get something done by July.
Fully confident.
Oh.
Yeah.
How far do you have the Hawks going in your bracket?
I haven't won him the whole goddamn thing.
Oh, really? So you're
Yeah.
going to lose?
No.
Yeah.
No. Hey,
Yeah, that's what Iowa does.
In years past, that is true, but I tell you what, I've never seen a Hawks team fly like I've seen this team fly this year. I really haven't.
Hey, these birds are flapping.
These birds are flapping. Midway through the season, too, I said, listen, I'm done watching these fucking games. Okay, this is the same Iowa team I see every year. You know, a lot of promise. Then they choke. They play terrible in the Big Ten. Then they got hot. Then they won the Big Ten.
Whoa.
Then they kind of got screwed over with their seeding in the tournament.
Whoa.
But everyone's saying, hey, this draw that they got, don't worry about the 5 seed. Iowa is primed and poised to go all the way to New Orleans
Kind of
and
scares
win
me
a
that
national
everybody's
title.
saying that, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, a
Kinda
little bit. But they got the guy. I mean, Garza was good, but he's a post guy. We got one of those guys who, when you need him to make a shot, you absolutely need a bucket. You got Keegan Murray, and he's putting all the other
The
Hawks
cool
underneath
thing
his
about
wings.
Iowa is they will kick a guy right out and, hey, fuck Luka.
Yeah, I don't care.
That was
Garza,
wild.
whatever his
Get
name
him
is.
out. Player of the year.
That's what you
Fuck
just
him.
said. Yeah, he's good. He's point guy.
Guy
Get him
just
out of here.
jersey retired this year.
No. Yeah,
Jeez.
we retired the man's jersey a year after
Yeah,
he
so you
left.
never have to talk to him again.
No,
you never have to talk about him again.
Shane on him.
No, I love Garza more than most. But listen, it's Keegan's team now, okay? And that team that Garza was on last year, they choked in the second round and got beat when they shouldn't.
I have Iowa doing that again this year, by the way.
And, you know what? And that's fair because that is typically what they've done in the past. But this team's different. This team will fly like they have never flown before, and they're going to fly all the way to New Orleans.
All right, so let's talk about it, Ty. We'll start with the Iowa, and then we'll go into the Davante news that came out of nowhere. Iowa got fucking beat by the Richmond Spiders yesterday, and it was bad. It was embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And your Keegan guy that you talked about being different, I think he had like 10 points. What the
21.
hell? What happened to the Iowa Hawkeyes, Ty?
I mean, I do this every year with Iowa football and Iowa basketball. You know, if you're an Iowa fan, you know exactly what you're getting. You know what you're getting. And just working yourself into, maybe this year's different. Maybe this year they're going to, go to the Final Four, win a national championship. They don't. They just don't. So, I mean, they go ice cold from the field. I just watched them in Indianapolis, and they were hot as hell, which is why I picked them. It wasn't just like a homer thing. It was like, hey, I've laid eyes on the Hawks. They look unbelievable. They're going to do some damage. They choke. They get beat. You know, what are you going to do? That one's, it's okay, because then Kentucky gets beat later that night, so it's a little bit easier to swallow.
Yeah, kind of the shadow. You're in the shadow of the Kentucky downfall.
Exactly, and I told Connor that right after the game yesterday. I said, need a higher seed to lose to take a little bit of the heat off the Hawks, because otherwise it would have been bad. But it's like, whatever. I'll tell you what, then the Davante Adams thing happens.
Oh,
my God.
What a two-piece to this Ty Schmidt fucking morale
that was
there.
a real kick to the testicles last night when I saw that. I was feeling kind of good from the St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, Iowa lost, but we still got March Madness. There's still a bunch of games to watch. I just started pounding whiskey after that. Yeah, exactly. And it just it was almost like you're going to a funeral, because I really didn't think there was any way that he was not going to be a Packer this year. And then you look at it and it's like, well, they got the 22nd. They got a late first-round pick and a second-round pick for him. It just, you know what? It hurts. It hurts pretty bad. And, I should have known this was going to happen, because a lot of good things were happening. Rodgers resigns. Hey, Davante's coming back. Iowa wins the Big Ten tournament. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, the basement flooded. But outside of that, that could have been a precursor. But I was just, all these good things are happening. Things are kind of lining up. We're going to have a baseball's back. Here you go.
Oh, Iowa wins the Big Ten.
Iowa wins the Big Ten. And then, boom, it's just like kind of the world just saying, hey, you shut your mouth and you fucking sit your ass down, okay?
Yeah.
You've had a good couple weeks here. Now you need to kind of wallow in your sorrows.
Well, life has a funny way of doing that.
Yeah.
It's a humbling thing, they say.
It really does.
We'll be joined by Tom Telesco in about 17 minutes or so, the general manager for the Chargers. They've been making a lot of moves. J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, they re-signed Mike Williams. I mean, he's doing it over there. The Chargers are ready to make a run. And with the big news last night about, I can't wait to chat with him, by the way. The Chargers faithful was very, very active on the Twitter, too. So anything that Tom Telesco says, we'll go. And we're very thankful for his time. He was the guy that got me into the NFL. If you do recall, he told Bill Polian to draft me, basically, and they did. So shout out to TT.
Shout out.
Love what he's doing with the Chargers.
Yeah.
But in that division, everybody's making moves.
Yes. A lot of them.
Denver Broncos say, hey, listen, we're going to go get fucking Russell Wilson to be our quarterback. We got a new head coach in Nathaniel Hackett. We're going to pluck him out of Green Bay, too. Yeah. See you later. You're coming in here. How you doing? Keep it moving. We're going to get Russell Wilson. The Chargers are like, all right, we need Khalil Mack. Give us J.C. Jackson, and we're keeping Mike Williams around. Brandon Staley from the Bruce and Linda Staley coaching tree gets another year. Justin Herbert hopefully gets a little bit older. They'll be able to go on a run. In the Raiders are absolutely on fire right now.
Yeah.
Not only to get a whole new coaching staff that plucks everybody from New England, basically.
Sons of bitches.
What? That's the business.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the business. Hate to
That's
break
football.
it to you.
Maybe pick someone else, but that's
Hate to
football.
break it to you. But now, with the signing of Davante Adams to a brand new deal, however big it is, 140-some million, allegedly, Bob Domofsky's reporting that the Green Bay Packers offered either the same or a little bit more money to Davante. The reason why they would have to offer a little bit more money to make it an equal contract is because Wisconsin has a 7.7% state income tax, where Nevada does not have any at all. So whenever you think about 7.7% of money, if it's like $100,000, obviously you can do the math. When it's over $100 million, that's a lot of fucking money that's potentially just getting given to the state of Wisconsin as opposed to Nevada. So Wisconsin and the Packers had to make that up for that. And Davante said, nah, I just want to go play somewhere else. Allegedly, Davante was a lifelong Raiders fan. This is a dream come true. And his college quarterback, college roommate Derek Carr is over there. But still, nobody saw this happening because Aaron Rodgers and Davante were a tag team that nobody could stop. Aaron and Davante, literally. It's in rap songs, and it's a comparison for everybody around the NFL. Maybe Derek Carr and Davante will be able to do the same damn thing. But how does Aaron Rodgers feel about this? Allegedly, he was on board and knew about this. Who the fuck's he throwing the ball to? I know Lazard's a stud. MVS, he's still a free agent out there. Big Bob Tunney's still a free agent out there. Big Dog's still a free agent out there. Who's he throwing the rock to? I know he's getting paid. He's come back. He did a salary cap friendly deal because he wanted more people to be there. What the hell is going on with the Green Bay? Who is Aaron throwing the ball to? Aaron Jones the entire time? Odell Beckham Jr. is still available. Jarvis Landry's still available. Randall Cobb just restructured his contract down to $1 million or $2 million or whatever. But this is interesting times for Green Bay Packers fans. And I know it was a kick to the nuts after a gut punch from the Hawkeyes yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
But now that you've gotten to kind of sober up after house and whiskey and green beer all day, I mean, actual thoughts, like, who the fuck is he throwing the ball to? That is a very... Jordy Nelson running around in the phone?
Ooh, bring him back.
Antonio Brown.
Oh.
Juju.
Hey, business will be booming in Green Bay. I'm sure he'll be able to do some magical stuff up there. Aaron and Antonio Brown would be ridiculous. Juju Smith-Schuster is still out there, I guess.
Exactly.
T.Y. Hilton's still available. I mean, I guess there's a lot of wide receivers available, but goddamn, top two, not two. Davante Adams gone is that came out of left field. I was working out. I get back to my phone. The group text has 35 text messages in it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I open it up. I'm like, holy shit. That's literally my first thought. I think I'd assume, I don't know how long Schefter or Rappaport or any of these insiders knew that this was happening. Did Aaron know this was coming? I guess that's for the next time we get to talk to him. I did not reach out to my source to see the exact thoughts because I have not been reached out to by source and that's how the relationship goes there. But that has to be an interesting building right now. What the fuck are they going to do? Davante, massive piece of that offense. Third and whatever, good chance it's going to Davante. Need a play? Good chance it's going to Davante. Oh, shit. Davante's down there somewhere. Aaron, very, very talented.
Yeah.
And maybe Davante was, sick of all the conversation about off-the-field stuff happening with Aaron, which, by the way, I think Aaron's also sick of. He mentioned that. Maybe he just wanted to get out there, and maybe he always wanted to be a Raider, but god damn, this is a wild scene for the Packers.
Yeah, it really didn't. I mean, honestly, did not expect. I would imagine that Rodgers had to have known about this and been kind of in, because you don't just fucking trade his top guy who's arguably the best wide receiver in the league after re-signing him. That would completely destroy all the goodwill that they've built up in the last season. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, there's still a couple guys out there, and it's weird because the way the receiver market has been, I can't see the Packers going out and overpaying for kind of two guys who are left right now. I think they'll kind of wait and see, but Rodgers in the past he's so good that who they have in house, he will obviously just how good he is elevates their play, and he can make guys unbelievable. But you also no, he's done it before, but you need to go get and with the way receivers come into the league now, and guys are good quicker, so who knows? You get a guy like Olave from Ohio State, he's kind of but everyone who's left right now is kind of just a guy who's going to play in the slot, and they basically already have that in Lazard and Cobb. It's they need a guy on the outside, they need a dude, and at this point,
maybe Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, yes,
from Georgia,
put him out there.
6'6", 341. Who's gonna be able to stop him?
Jet sweep.
I was looking at the free agent list. Maybe a guy like Will Fuller, who didn't play a lot last year in Miami because he was hurt, but he was good in the past.
Yeah, and he got hurt a little bit before
that.
Yeah,
no thanks. But we'll see. They have 4 picks in the top 60 now, so maybe they bundle those and go and trade for an existing guy. But if you're going to do something like that, I don't know why you wouldn't just do whatever you could to sign Davante. It is kind of just mind-boggling. It really is. It's hard to. I did not see myself or the Packers being in this situation today, of all days. So it's
a feel-good Friday.
It's a feel-good Friday, sure. But things are, feeling pretty dour over here. I'll be honest with you.
They're looking up.
Connor, that's a massive piece. They go from the odds go from minus 220 to minus 185 or something like that to win the division. So Davante Adams is a needle mover.
Oh yeah.
Remember, Carson Wentz signed with the Commanders. Their odds stayed the exact same. He's the quarterback. He's getting the ball every single play. Didn't get worse, which I guess is good, but it didn't get better. Davante leaves the Packers. The odds drop a little bit for them to win the division. It's a big deal. That's a playmaker. And by the way, he's the greatest route runner they say. He doesn't even use his hands. He just gets wide open. His catch radius is huge. He makes plays all the time. That's tough stuff. I'm a Packers fan too now.
You said it too. He accounted for 50% of their offense last year. 50% of their total offense came from Davante Adams. So replacing that isn't just give me 2 fucking Jimmies and Joes and they can do what he did. It's not like that. So it really is okay, well, if you had this plan in place, I can't imagine this was part of it. So we'll see what they do now. They need to. But
how many fingers on that whiskey last night?
Oh, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm filling it to the top. So basically, you dunk a whole fist in there, and then just a little drip of Diet Coke, and let's go.
Well, that's because at the basketball games you were just drinking all diet.
Yeah, exactly.
No
Kind of
whiskey.
need to, shift the tables back in my
I mean,
balance.
Iowa stinks. Davante's gone.
It's terrible.
Fucking bad day for
Golden
old
Knights.
Iowa.
Golden Knights.
Golden
They're
Knights.
dead.
They're dead. They did win last night. Beat the red hot Florida Panthers. So
Jackie
maybe,
Aces got hurt.
yeah,
Jackie
which
Aces is
I'm
dead.
kind of out on Jackie Aces anyway. We need fucking Stoner back. So
Okay.
I'm tired of hearing about Jackie Aces.
I see you got that Peachtree hat on.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some Deshaun news today. Hey, all right, feel good Friday.
Everybody immediately said, well, the Colts should go try to get Aaron Rodgers because there's no way Aaron Rodgers is going to be happy.
Sure.
And even though he signed a 5-year, $186 million deal, we could pay for that all this year if we wanted to.
Yeah, that's right.
That ain't no problem here for the
Something
Indianapolis
about-
Colts. But I'm not sure because then the report said that Aaron was on board the entire time.
Yeah.
This is right whenever they fired a couple wide receivers up there in New England, Tom got pissed, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was like one of the things that kind of separated it all. Now, Davante allegedly decided that he wanted to go somewhere else. That's the reports. We don't know until we hear from Davante or hear from anybody else. This is just all hearsay and reporting, and the journalists got to do their job.
Sure.
Bob Domofsky typing with an iPhone, by the way, word to weir. It pisses me off too, Bob. It was in the middle of your tweet that is pretty large in there. But that is something you would think that could potentially piss off a quarterback. Like, hey, how do we lose this guy? He said he doesn't want to live in Green Bay for 6 months. He wants to go to Vegas. Oh, well, I get it.
Makes sense.
We all
Yeah.
get it. Because in December, Lambeau's got like 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, it's freezing cold.
In December in Vegas, it's like 65
Yeah,
degrees.
61,
It's 70
75.
degrees.
Perfect
You know,
summer.
Beautiful.
There's no state income tax there.
That's pretty nice.
It's a team he was a fan of growing up.
Which I did not know.
His
Quarterback
college
roommate.
quarterback
Yeah.
roommate. I mean, there's a lot of things that potentially Green Bay was working against. But
Just
if we're-
built a new house out there.
Built a house.
yeah, just bought a house next to
yeah.
Derek
Yeah.
Carr's house. Is that in the same neighborhood as Max Crosby, you think? Probably.
Has to
Maybe.
be.
That's a good.
Good neighborhood.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
yeah.
my God, that's a good neighborhood.
Mark
Yeah.
Davis gave him his PS5.
That's
I mean,
sweet.
there's a lot of things that Davante Adams, is getting set up with in Vegas. But I mean, we're talking about how their chemistry, and I think Aaron actually said this.
I thought he had a.
Game Boy, he's got that too, but he would never,
Yeah, Game Boy.
ever give that thing away. He said that's a first gen. Okay, so he would not part with that thing. It's gonna be worth $1 billion someday. Probably buy his franchise back with it. But when the Packers played the Vikings, Aaron talked about how it was like a broken play, but him and Davante looked at him and he ran a different route and scored a touchdown. Like, it's not even just the back shoulder stuff. It's like how smart of a player he is on the field too. And I mean, is this the most, like, aside from the quarterback, is Davante Adams leaving the Packers like the most
Devastating?
important position to lose? Like,
I think so.
because even with like
50% of their offense.
yeah, like even with Khalil Mack, unbelievable defender, but he doesn't have the impact on a game that Davante Adams is. Like, no one.
Well, he
really
could.
does.
It depends what Khalil Mack was getting. Now,
Sure.
Khalil Mack first year in Chicago.
Yeah,
Remember, he
yeah.
was
2016 Khalil Mack.
game record doing whatever the hell he wanted. Now, maybe he'll do that again with the Chargers because he's got Bosa on the other side. Maybe they're able to both eat. But I think a good defensive end who is a game record could potentially be the same amount of importance of losing or gaining to your team. But Davante Adams with the Green Bay Packers, remember the defense for the Green Bay Packers, opportunistic, much better than they have been in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
But with that being said, the offense had to score basically every single possession. And the ball was going to Davante all the time. As somebody who became a Packers fan the last couple of years, anytime you needed to play, it was like, oh, Aaron's going to Davante. Aaron to Davante. Aaron to Davante. Joey Burrow, Jamar Chase. Hey, they might be the next Aaron and Davante. Like, that became like the conversation piece. So them breaking up is just, I would like to know what the hell Aaron Rodgers' thoughts are on that.
Devastated.
Do you think Davante told him? Like, hey, I'm leaving. Like, I don't want to be here.
Do you think he saw it on the internet?
Well, no, or like the front office came in to Aaron and said, "Hey, Davante just told us he's like I'm interested because it said he found out this week, right? Like he was made aware of it this week. Like there's not a lot that Aaron could do if Davante doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, except for say, well, if Davante's not here, I'm not here either. Trade me the Colts.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You can afford the whole contract.
How'd you do, Ty?
I mean, at this point, if that happened, I'd just go walk out in front of a city bus. I really would. After
They're bad drivers around here.
They are.
Well, Colts
I don't know if they'd
might,
hit you.
Might have made it actually, but God,
Colts
I
might be the
hope
only
that's
place
not
with
the
less
case.
wide receivers though than the Packers.
It's a great point.
Yeah, but I mean, the same wide receivers that are available for the Packers now,
True.
available for the Colts.
Good
Bingo.
point. That's
If
also
we get
a
a
good
quarterback, I mean, and Aaron said this last year, and everybody was like, oh, this arrogant prick, but it's real. He's like, you think people are traveling to Green Bay and saying, hey, I want to live in Green Bay? No, they're coming to play with me and with this team or whatever. Aaron can still, recruit, hopefully, some of these free agents that might be a little bit more difficult for the Colts to recruit because, we don't have a quarterback or Indianapolis isn't necessarily a desirable hotspot yet.
Yet. Yeah. City is growing like a weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, making all really good decisions, too, financially.
Weeds are cool.
Cleaned up all the poop.
Poop's clean.
Bums are damn near gone.
Took all the wood off the windows that were on there for like 9-10 months.
Long time.
In the middle of downtown Indianapolis. We literally look like a movie town.
Yeah.
Like The Purge. The town looked like The Purge. Downtown Indianapolis looked like The Purge for 8, 9, 10
Long
months.
time.
I mean, it looked like it was out of a movie. Yeah. Zombies walking around, pooping their pants, dropping them off in the middle of the town. Then buildings that used to be beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Well, obviously, they got ransacked and lit on fire and burned during the riots and everything. We're not going to fix those, though.
No.
Let those eat. And then a great graffiti artist got a hold of some of them. Terrible graffiti artists got a hold of some other ones.
Right.
It's like those will stick around. Like, hey, Banksy, stick around, do whatever you got to do. But this old slapdick with a spray paint can, need him not to ever touch any of the wood that's downtown.
Can't have it.
Hey, get your fucking ass on a railroad track, all right? There's levels to this graffitiing, okay? We don't need you downtown Indianapolis. Do it the old-fashioned way. Go get underneath a bridge where nobody sees it.
That's right.
We don't need you on this wood downtown Indianapolis. But with all that being said, it's all cleaned up.
It's all cleaned up.
Lucas Oil's gorgeous.
Back. We're hosting
New
events.
Top Golf thing being built downtown.
It's not Top Golf. It's Back 9 or something like that, which is a
Nine.
Top Golf knockoff, but I don't care. It's going to be awesome, I think, right down here. We got fucking March Madness happening downtown.
Conventions.
The Combine was back.
Yeah.
Conventions are back. The city's all the way back. Come on and play in Indianapolis if you happen to be a quarterback that's pretty good.
Be awesome.
That'd be great.
You crush.
Still bottom 10, though.
What's that?
Still bottom 10
Bottom 10 what?
of cities to choose out of all the other ones, I think.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Z. What?
See, this guy.
Z.
I get Chicago is
Feel
once
Good
nice.
Friday, dude.
All right.
Once.
Once. I've watched a lot of documentaries on the city that you hail from.
Still thriving, though.
I know there's a big dick contest going on up there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I don't know how it's all going down. I don't know who's got the biggest dick up there, but I've heard it's been a big dick contest for quite some time. Chicago's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Okay, it's a beautiful city, as is Indianapolis. We really make it your home. But
Sure.
if you're not good at football, they will let you know about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because good football has been around here for a long time. Let's talk a little bit about football. And let's talk about the NFL having all the control in every situation. And this is something that everybody needs to understand, that although we played football as kids in the backyard, in the street, maybe high school pickup, whatever, and it was just love of the game. And fans, love of the game. The NFL is a business, 1,000%. So whenever we talked about the Baker Mayfield situation, whenever Baker Mayfield said, I won't be traded, and they said, we don't give a fuck. There is nothing Baker can do. If Baker's just going to sit out, cool. He hasn't been made rich yet. He does have money. I guess he is rich. He's not wealthy yet. Cleveland Browns don't care if he just sits out. All right, that's on you. You're losing your money and your opportunity to become a player somewhere else. And do you think anybody's going to sign you after you hold out for a year, after the football you put on film, and with everything you got in your past? The Cleveland Browns have all the leverage. I understand we're in a player leverage world, and players have a lot more leverage than they do. The Browns have all the leverage in that situation, although we're pulling for Baker. Hey, Baker.
Good luck, Baker.
We hope it all works out. Another thing, Matt Ryan was supposed to get a $7.5 million bonus today. The Atlanta Falcons said, nah, you get that on Tuesday. All right? We're not giving it to you on Friday. We'll push that to Tuesday. Because they are waiting the weekend, I guess. Deshaun Watson's taking the weekend to decide where he wants to end up, where he wants to go. So everybody just assumes, okay, if Atlanta's delaying a $7.5 million bonus, which... I don't know how they're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I don't know how they're allowed to do that. I assume there's something in there where it's like, hey, we control the money that you get, whether you like it or not. We can just move that from Friday to Tuesday. Do you like it? Do you not like it? We don't care. The next team's going to have to pay you this deal that we gave you that was absurd. It was like $100 and some million. So Matt Ryan's getting his money on Tuesday from either the Falcons or whatever team he ends up on. You would have to assume if Atlanta's doing that, they're waiting it out and doing this whole thing, that they feel very good about Deshaun coming to Atlanta, which means Matt Ryan's probably coming to the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
It's kind of how people are piecing it together. If he goes to the Saints, which a lot of people say he is going to, I guess then there's even more question marks on the board, but it is a wild time in the NFL. Speaking of a wild time in the NFL, there's one team that's been making a lot of plays this offseason. A man that brought me into the NFL, who I am eternally grateful for. Now the general manager for the Los Angeles Chargers. Brought in Khalil Mack on a trade.
What?
J.C. Jackson, how you doing? Keep it moving. Coming from Los Angeles. Mike Williams, we're locking you down. Very active, very talented squad that he has built. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Telesco.
Hey!
Tom, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Hey, we're trying to break down the entire situation that's going on, and I don't want to ask you about how you can just say, hey, a $7.5 million bonus that's due on Friday. You get that on Tuesday now. I'm assuming there's some sort of litigation in there. Let's talk about what you've been doing. Very active this offseason, Tom. It's been awesome to watch. How come?
Appreciate it.
Is this new for you? Is this standard for you? Did you see a lot of opportunity? Why do you think you've been so active, and what do you think you've really added to the squad with these great players?
Yeah, each year is a little bit different just based on where your football team is, where your resources are, what the circumstances are at that time. So this year, we had more cap space than usual. I think when you have, obviously we have Justin Herbert on a rookie contract. Our left tackle is on a rookie contract. So that will open up some space for us. So that was big. And then at least going into free agency, we were the smallest amount of dead cap money in the league going into free agency. So that opens up some space there. And then we got 20 draft picks over last year and this year. So a lot of resources for this year. And want to make sure we use that. So that enabled us to go after Khalil Mack that we think is going to be a great fit, to sign a J.C. Jackson, make some other moves, try and get this team going.
Hey, not normal for you. By the way, congrats on all this. Yeah. Because the lack of dead cap space is because of the deals that you've put together. And the amount of draft picks that you have is because of the decisions that you and your team have made over the years. So you've put yourself into a great spot here. With the salary cap climbing, is this something you see yourself continuing to do, or is it just as need? Like J.C. Jackson was going to be top dollar, but he was linked to you guys early. Like, hey, the Chargers are getting J.C. Jackson. And for me, because you come from the Napoleon tree, because of how you've operated, like that doesn't sound like something Tom Telesco would do. So you love JC on the film, and we're like, hey, this is a guy who puts us over the hump if we get him in our secondary.
Yeah, as we build the team, we want to draft well. We'd like to re-sign our own players where we can, but you can't just do it that way. We have to supplement that with free agency. But it kind of depends on where you are with your football team. We had a lot of space this year, so we're able to use that. We'll see where we are next year. But with J.C. Jackson, he really fits the style that we need in the secondary right now. And then obviously last year when Brandon Staley came in, the new staff came in, it's hard to transition everything on 1 year on both sides of the ball. Last year we hit the offense pretty hard. This year we're trying to transition the defense a little bit. JC has those man cover skills that we really need out of corner. He's got tremendous ball skills. He turns the ball over consistently, which is big. So that was a big money signing. I might have to dip in your FanDuel money to try and get that done. But it was good. We needed that.
No, I might have to dip into the FanDuel money to get some Colts. See that? They have all the money in the world and we ain't doing nothing. The patience is a virtue until you miss everything. But it's not about that, okay? It's about the Chargers right now. You talked about last year and Brandon Staley, how you invested in the offense and now you're invested in the defense. And last year was a disappointment, I assume, for everybody in the building. But what were realistic expectations for Brandon Staley's first year as a head coach? You have a guy quarterback. You have a lot of stars on your team. So all the fans are going to expect, hey, we need a Super Bowl or bust. What did you see last year and what were your expectations going in with Brandon Staley as a coach and the team that you guys had?
Expectations are always to make the playoffs. And that's what it was last year. And, we were in mid-December last year playing Kansas City for the division lead. And we lost even mid-December, which was tough. It felt like a playoff game. It was a great atmosphere, but we lost that game and just didn't have enough down the stretch. We just didn't finish well last year. So, but look, it's a process. I knew that going into last year. Completely new staff, new offense, new defense. So there is a transition period involved there, but we think we're getting closer there. As you see, our division is unbelievable right now. We're all chasing Kansas City. Denver makes a move with Russell Wilson, and we make a move with Khalil Mack. The Raiders make a move with Davante Adams. Luckily, we signed J.C. Jackson. So, we're all just trying to keep up with each other and trying to go after Kansas City.
Yeah, the AFC West has become, the division with all eyes on it, which is probably right where you want to be. Russell Wilson said, I want to play against the best. There's a story about Charlie Casserly, I believe, drafting Mario Williams over Reggie Bush. And he did that because Peyton Manning was the quarterback for the Colts. And he said, listen, you guys want Reggie Bush, I want to beat the Colts because they're in our division. How much of that is in the planning? Because I feel like that is a great example of like, if you win the division, you get into the playoffs. How much are you thinking about the division? And every single day when you wake up and see a brand new signing in the AFC West, is it just like, shit, all right, we got to go in here and do this again? Is it bringing out the best in everybody? And is that what you have to focus on?
Yeah, I mean, high water raises all boats, and that's really what it is. I mean, competition brings out the best in everybody. In our division, I mean, it's tough, and we know that. The teams that come out of our division will be very well battle tested. So, but yeah, certainly when you build your football team, you have to look at your division opponents. Those are 6 games. They're very important games. Obviously, there's 11 others that we have to get after too. But yeah, there's no doubt. You have to look at your division, how you match up with those teams, how they match up with us as well. And what you're seeing right now, I mean, there's a lot of talent in the AFC West. But like I said, that brings out the best in all of us.
Hey, how bad did you hate Brandon Staley just hating kickers all year? You know what I mean? How bad did you? No, we got a chance to chat with him, obviously, and he was great. He's always been great on our show, and I assume he's great on the day-to-day. I don't know him as well as you or anybody in that building, but him saying, like, yeah, once we got Dustin Hopkins, though, I mean, we started kicking a little bit. He's a big, like, hey, my guys are better than your guys. And those 4th down plays where Herbert seemed to come alive. I mean, he was like 5 for 6 or something like that in 4th downs and big-time plays. How did you know that's the style of coach he was going to be? And how many did you have to have conversations during the year like, hey, are we doing this all year? Like, how was that? Because he was changing the game. I mean, that was change. It was the topic of discussion everywhere. What were your thoughts on his aggressiveness and his aggressive style?
Yeah, I mean, number one, I trust him. When he goes into these games, he has a model put together of how he wants to attack that game. Dustin Hopkins did a great job for us. He came in, stabilized that kicking position, kicked very well for us. We were lucky enough to re-sign him. But, a little bit of that mentality is when you go for it on 4th down in the scoring zone, it's not so much that we could have 3. It's more with the mentality of, if we go for it here, if we kick a field goal, we're giving up potentially 4 points, with the quarterback we have and the offense we have. So it certainly wasn't a lack of confidence in Dustin. Dustin did a great job, but Brandon has a very aggressive mindset in the right situations. That's not reckless. These are well thought out to try and put an extra 4 points on the board or get a closer field goal. So we're lucky to have Dustin, but the less we use him, the better.
Hey,
more for kickoffs and for field goals, right?
Hey, and extra points. Yeah. Hey,
and extra points.
Hey, listen, you're up in that booth though. In some of those calls, you're telling me that there isn't like, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't, I would assume you're in your suit up there like, all right, I trust him. I like what we're doing. And if it works out, just like any fake, anytime you go for it, if it works out, you're a genius. If it doesn't, you're an idiot. So I assume there's, a multitude of both of those things. But just the thought of you sitting in the booth in the suit, just being like, again, we're doing this? Like, that is.
I don't wear ties anymore, Pat. I can't handle that. So no, but it's all probability based. Even if it's an 80%, success rate, obviously 20% of the time it's not going to work. But it shows that his confidence in the defense to get the ball back. But it's an aggressive mindset. We're okay with that. It's kind of our identity. It's good to have an identity, and that's ours right now.
Yeah, it's an explosive and electrifying style of play, and I think Brandon Staley even talked about that. Like, hey, when you watch us play, like it's a
you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's a fun style of football. Like, you're going to enjoy it. And that pivots into the conversation about Los Angeles as a whole. And Brandon Staley talked about, hey, we're just trying to win for our team. And everybody knows in the end, if you win, the fans will come. Every team has bandwagon fans, okay? Bandwagon fans show up whenever your team's having success. And when your team stinks, they find different avenues to utilize their money and their emotions. You can't blame them for that. In Los Angeles, with the Rams winning the Super Bowl in L.A., now you guys making all these plays. Is that something you have to think about in the back of your mind about building a brand out there in LA and making this team better and having to win, or is it just the AFC West is good and you just have to worry about yourselves?
No, it certainly enters the conversation. I mean, 1A is to win. We all know that. But 1B is we want to entertain. We want to play a fun brand of football. We don't want to play these 13-10 games where you grind it out, you run the ball, and you play good defense, even though Brandon's a defensive coach. But we want to play an exciting brand of football. We want to have some stars out there. We want to have fun with this, and that's part of it. It's part of being in Los Angeles with the fan base. We're building this really fan by fan at this point. We saw huge gains this past year at the stadium. Our season ticket renewals are doing outstanding. So
hey,
I think people like what they see.
Yeah.
but we want to, we want to have fun. I think our players enjoy that. Our players are engaged with that sort of philosophy and that sort of aggressive mindset and have that identity. And, that's what we're after.
What did you see from Justin Herbert this last year that makes you excited for another year with him being comfortable, confident? He doesn't seem to be rattled ever. Like, it seems like he is just the same guy, and he has that fight. What do you expect from him next year, and what did you see from him this past season, maybe that we couldn't see on the field?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing this year was his preparation skills during the week. I think his first year as a rookie, you're just trying to survive. But he really learned this second year how much work goes into in the building, watching film, being in the quarterback room with Easton Stick and Chase Daniel, working with his coaches, the work he puts in on the field. So it's just growing up as a quarterback. He's still really young. I was just talking to him yesterday, and he's 2 years in the NFL. So he's still learning the game and learning what teams are trying to do to counter him. But he just did tremendous last year. Like you said, his mentality is the same in the first quarter on 1st and 10 than it is on 4th and 18 in the fourth quarter on a game we have to win to get in the playoffs. It's the same mindset. It's the same level-headedness, which is great to have in a leader. He doesn't panic in the huddle, doesn't panic in the pocket. Those qualities are hard to find.
Tom, do you have to think about his contract whenever you're doing stuff? Because that's, I don't.
Like I said, I need that FanDuel money.
Yeah. I don't know if the FanDuel, our next deal maybe, but I don't know if this deal is, it's a lot, but for the quarterbacks and where the salary cap is headed with these platforms that are getting involved, Amazon's in, Apple's going to come, let's assume Google's going to come, and the money is just like fake. It is. And with the way the salary cap is now, with how you can kick things down the road, do you have to think about all that? Do you have to adjust to all these while you're signing people now? Because Herbert's going to command a lot of money because he is one of one, that guy.
Yes, absolutely. You have to, that's part of my job, is building in 2023, 24, 25, kind of projecting where the salary cap may go, and knowing we've got Justin Herbert coming up, we have Derwin James coming up, so we have to have space to re-sign these core football players are going to be here a long time. So, that always enters into every decision we make, signing right now, a free agent, even draft as far as projecting out. We have to have that in mind with Justin Herbert, Derwin James, and some others as well.
So when you see like Christian Kirk make the money that he's making, and you see like Davante just signed a deal. Now, Davante, but Keenan's a fucking guy. Whenever you see some of these deals that are getting made around the league, do you send text messages like, what the hell are you guys doing? Is that something? Because then automatically the rest of the market gets set too, right? And you guys kind of have to fall in line. Do you have conversations with others around the league, or is it just something you have to monitor?
We monitor it. Not really. I'm sure we make some moves that people say, what are they doing? That's the way it kind of works. But, as long as you scout the player and evaluate the player the right way, if you get a good player, maybe sometimes the contract doesn't line up. If you get the right player and he plays the way you think he's going to play, then everything usually works out. So Christian Kirk's he's an excellent football player, returner, play in the slot, outside. He's a really good player. We all make moves. I know we've made moves here where people look at us and say, what are they doing? But hey, that's just part of it. There's 32 different teams, 32 different philosophies, opinions. So that's just the way it works.
Jerry Jones said, everything in my life that's been worth it, people have told me I've overpaid for. It's like, I think he was talking about his stadium at the time and the team at the time and everything like that. It's real, because the value is in the person that's writing the check. That is who decides what somebody is worth, but the market gets set there. And it also might be taxing to go some other places. Has LA become a place that you've used to attract a lot of players? Like Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller. They went to the Rams because, everybody said they had houses there. They loved Los Angeles. Are you finding the same thing? It's much easier to get players that want to come to Los Angeles and to the Chargers if you, as opposed to maybe like Indianapolis or a team that has been on the rocks for a while like Jacksonville?
I don't know if it's the location, but I think part of it's just the players that we have. I think having Justin Herbert helps a lot. I think having Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and I think players, they want to go where they have a chance to win and contend and win a Super Bowl. So I think, obviously, I think the location here helps, but I really do think it's more about the players we have right now and the head coach that we have and, the mentality and aggressiveness and identity that we have. I think it's probably a little bit more. But, when you have Derwin James here and Bosa and Mack, some defensive guys, hey, I want to play with this group of guys. I can make money anywhere. The money's going to be relatively the same in a lot of places, but I want to play with this group of players. So that's what I've kind of seen certainly this year.
Has Ballard called you about potentially sending Herbert to Indy or no?
I'll pick up a lot of calls. I'm not picking up that one.
All right, we don't have a quarterback. I don't know if you know that. We actually do not have a quarterback right now. Do you pay attention to everything going on around the NFL, or are you too focused on you right now in this free agency period?
No, I mean you're always monitoring the whole league, on a daily basis. Certainly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where players are going, how much, what their contracts are. But yeah, you're constantly monitoring the league and watching what's going on and talking to people. Obviously, we get kind of focused on what we have to do, but you can't help but to watch what everybody else is doing.
Khalil Mack trade. You guys just get like a little birdie that says, hey, Khalil might be on the block, and then you kind of snoop around, and then big polls. In one of his first moves as general manager, former player, do they reach out to teams? Do you reach out? Is there like do you guys all have a group text? It's like, hey, we're thinking about trading this. How does one of those types of moves go? Because that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere for a lot of us. I assume your world much differently.
Yeah, I mean, it came together pretty quick. I mean, you have general conversations with GMs a lot. Sometimes if you don't ask, you don't know. So, you ask, and maybe there's some interest there, and once we figured out on both sides that there was a good amount of interest, it went pretty quick. It wasn't something we had planned going in early in the offseason, but when it presented itself, something that we felt like, hey, this can really help the defense, to have Joey Bosa on one side, Khalil Mack on the other. Not a lot different styles, obviously, but similar to Freeney and Mathis that we had in Indianapolis, to make people really respect both sides, 2 premium rushers. And so, something we jumped on, pretty quick.
So whenever you're in that, are you constantly trying to figure out what the value of each pick is that you're going to trade, or something like if a Khalil Mack comes available, this is what we'd be willing to give up for him? Is that just like a constant? Yeah, because everybody says you won that, by the way. So shout out. Hey, shout out.
Good trade.
I mean, we'll find out, I guess. We'll find out in the end. Nobody really knows who wins. But are you constantly trying to figure out who's worth what, or does that kind of happen in the moment and you just have to go by feel?
It's a little bit of both. As in this situation, how badly do you want the player? I mean, sure, I'd rather trade them a 4th and a 5th, but I know that's not going to get it done. So, you go through those conversations. You try and come up with the value of the picks of the player, but in reality, realistically, can you really come up with that? No, you really can't. So some of it's just feel. You got to figure out what do they want, and can we do that or not? And it's the same thing with the draft when we trade draft picks pick for pick. I mean, I know we put some value on it. We do a lot of studies to see how much each pick is worth. Do we really know exactly how much that pick's worth? No, it's basically how badly do you want to move up? How badly do you want to trade back? So there are some emotions involved in that. But I think this trade, it worked for us. It worked for them. We won't know till way down the line who won the trade. I don't really care who won the trade. I only care about the player that we got. I don't really worry about what we gave up. But we're excited to add Khalil now as a player. But what's nice about that move is we're trading for a player that our head coach, I know it was only 1 year with Chicago, but he worked with him for a full year. So he knows him not only as a player, we can watch the tape and see him as a player. He knows him as a teammate, how he's going to fit in the locker room, how he fits in the scheme, which is the same scheme. So that's very helpful. So that's when you make this move, you feel better about it, more comfortable about it, because you know that our head coach and our defensive line coach worked with this player.
So you're on the phone, you hang up, and you're like, we just got Khalil Mack for a bag of balls. I can't. Is there a celebration? Is there an entire, or is it just, hey, we got to move on to the next one? Are you calm, cool, collected? But that's like a home run in the general manager world, right? Like that's Super Bowl for you.
I'll tell you what, in our business, it's like you're moving on to the next move. I walked down the hallway, I walked in Brandon's office, and I said, hey, we got him. I gave him a fist pump. He looked at me like, we got who? I said, we got Khalil. It's all set. I gave him a fist pump, and I walked out. Move on to the next move. Now, he was a little more excited, I think. You're always thinking about the next thing, and especially at that point, because we hadn't started free agency yet. So, we got Khalil coming on. We got his contract coming on. So now we get, it did change how we're going to attack free agency. Because, like I said, the Mac thing kind of came together pretty quick at the end.
So there's waves to this free agency. Obviously, the legal tampering period starts on Monday, and it feels like a lot of deals kind of get done then. And then Wednesday at 4 o'clock, you have the press conferences of all the players, and there's some more signings. Then it's kind of fallen off a little bit and kind of died down. Do you see you guys being done? Are you always working? And when do you see more moves being made? Are some of these veteran guys choosing to kind of wait till teams kind of go through the draft and maybe do it later? What is your feel on when the rest of this trade free agency period might continue to ramp up?
It was really interesting. There was a lot of activity on Monday. Typically, there's a lot of activity on Tuesday. This Tuesday it was relatively quiet. Kind of picked up again Wednesday. we have a couple of things we're working on right now still. I mean, not to the level of a J.C. Jackson or Khalil Mack, but we have some things we're working on still. But in essence, free agency, it never ends. I mean, it goes all the way through March. And, yeah, there may be some players, Wayne, just trying to see where the best spots are for them. I think once you get into April, teams more turn their attention to the draft. So we'll see. But there's still a lot of players out there. But, we're still working on a couple of things. We'll see if they work out. But it just never ends.
Tom, if you could, take some of your time where you're not working, just figure out who the right quarterback would be for the Colts. That'd be great. We do not have a quarterback. I don't know if you know, they're still not a quarterback. So I saw you guys sign Chase Daniels. Kind of fucked up. Like, you already got Herbert. Maybe we get Chase. But hey, nonetheless, we'll figure it out.
You guys, I know one thing. I know Frank Reich really well. I know Chris Ballard. I would trust those guys. They know what they're doing.
Well, I have, Tom. I have. All right, I want to let you know.
Just trust them. They'll be all right.
Blinders on. Just trust the process. A couple questions from the boys here, Tom. We appreciate you joining us. Talking to General Manager of the Chargers. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Tom, when you're going after like a very sought-after corner like J.C. Jackson in free agency, do you know what other teams are offering him, or are you just communicating with the agents and just kind of bouncing numbers back and forth off him?
Yeah, so great question. So no, we don't know what other offers. You're strictly dealing the team, and we're dealing with that agent. So we don't know what other teams are involved. We don't know what the other offers are. In this particular situation with Neil Schwartz, we have a great relationship with him. We trust him, work through it really well. But part of our, you have to vet the player, do all the background work we can, because we haven't seen this player since he came out of college. But also part of it, what our pro staff does is try and get a feel for what other teams are going to be in that market for a corner. Who needs a corner, what their cap space is like, any connections that may be there. So maybe we can figure out who the other teams are involved. Sometimes it doesn't matter. I mean, in the end, we have to have an aggressive contract offer available, and we have to have a situation, recruiting-wise, that the player wants to come to. So a lot of it is on us, but we do try and figure out, scouting-wise, like who may be involved in this.
Tom, salary cap's fake. You know that?
I do not know that.
Well,
Tom, it's fake.
It's newsflash.
Have you? The Saints cleared $100 million in 2.5 weeks. Didn't cut anybody. This new signing bonus, get the money right. Adam Thielen just opened up $14-15 million signing bonus now to spray out the number through the entire years of the contract. That's why there's 6 years deals with 4 years voidable. What are your thoughts on that? That seems to be the new trend almost. Let's assume the NFL will put an end to it at some point, because it feels like there's a big asterisk next to the salary cap right now with how it's working. What are your thoughts on that? And have you had to look into that? Do you have a salary cap guru on the squad that has to do all that type of stuff?
Yes, we do. We have a couple of gurus. We have Ed McGuire, does a tremendous job. We have Katie Sylvan, who we just hired, does a great job. Michael Spanos works. We've got a 3-person crew that handles this. But I guess my view on the cap's a little different than yours. I mean, it's a hard cap. There's no trends. I mean, teams have been restructuring contracts since I came in the league in 1995. So that's nothing new. I mean, yeah, you can clear space for this year. It's going to catch up to you at some point, whether it's 22, 23, 24. You have to pay it at some point. It's kind of like having a credit card. You may not have to pay it off all at once. You may be able to pay off a little bit now. Eventually, you'll have to pay it. So the restructuring of contracts, making space this year, I mean, that's just normal, common business that we've been doing for years.
Okay, well, it feels like it's all one big fugazi. Yep. What some of these teams are doing, because we're watching the salary cap each year because the Colts have the most. So obviously I'm looking at that, and then we have the worst. The Saints were $71 million over the projected cap, and then now they're $31 million under. It's without cutting anybody. I don't know how that works, but I guess it's a new world with the signing bonus. You're just saying restructuring has been happening for a long time.
Yeah, it seems like people ask more about it now than ever. Before it was just work that we did. But yeah, I mean, you're essentially just pushing money forward. It will catch up at some point. And the Saints do a great job. Because they're competitive every year, really good roster. But yeah, part of being a really good organization is having salary cap people like we have here with Ed and Katie and Michael that can maneuver these contracts, make sure we're signing the right contracts on the way in with players. Big part of the process. I mean, it's a hard cap. I mean, it's not like basketball where it's a soft cap or baseball where they have luxury tax. So we do have to stay under it. We have to always plan for the future. It's more than just scouting the player on tape.
So when you see like Davante gets traded to the Raiders, is that something you knew he was potentially on the block, or were you blindsided by that as well as some other GMs probably are like, didn't know Davante was available? That would have been awesome. Is that something you knew was available or knew potential, and did you snoop into it?
I mean, I kind of knew, but I kind of knew we were kind of set at that spot, so there's not much I could do about it. But I kind of knew that was, maybe a possibility. I was kind of hoping he may end up in a different division, but I also knew that the Raiders were, probably a likely destination for him.
So is there anything that happens that surprises you, or do you feel like you guys in the general manager roles around the NFL are pretty much dialed into almost everything? Because we see all the bullshit, baby. Like we hear reports of this, reports of this. Is there anything that surprises you guys?
Oh yeah. No, there's moves that happen that catch you off guard. I mean, there's 32 teams, and there's talks that go on, and as you know, sometimes those talks get public, sometimes they get leaked by insiders, and sometimes they don't get out at all. So yeah, there's no doubt. There's things that pop that you had no idea that was coming. Kind of makes it exciting. I mean, it's an entertainment business too. So, but every now and then, just from talking with people, sometimes what's coming down the pipe every now and then.
How do you feel about contracts being reported as the big fake contract, and then like the real contracts kind of fall in the? For instance, Von Miller, 6 years, $120 million. That's a 3-year, like $50-something million deal contract, but it's being reported as 6-year, 120. I think it's because of the salary cap move. Is that something you have to think about whenever you sign guys, or do you just not care about any of that? That's not really.
I mean, the public numbers I don't really even look at. So we kind of wait till the contracts get in the system. Usually it takes a couple of days, and we'll look at it. Ed, we'll kind of break those numbers down for down the road to see what the real numbers are, see what the comps are. But the actual numbers that come out right after the signing really really don't pay attention to those.
Tom, when you got into the NFL way back, you were in Buffalo with Bill? I don't remember. Were you in Buffalo?
I was a summer intern in Buffalo when I was in college when Bill was there.
So how many years ago?
My first full-time job was the Carolina Panthers.
How many years ago was that?
1995 was my first year with the Panthers, yeah.
Okay, so 27 years you've been around the NFL and been in the NFL. Do you remember back in the day those contracts? This guy signs for 4 years, $450 million. 449 of that million is only available if he cures cancer. He like that used to be like the thing. I think it's because it made agents look better, it made the league look better and all that. We're still kind of in that, but it feels like we're getting to it a little bit more with
I just remember in 1995, so the salary cap was relatively new. And Bill Polian would have a yellow legal pad and a pencil, and he'd write all the players' names out. He'd write out their contract numbers, which at that point, was base salary, signing bonus proration, maybe incentives. There wasn't a lot there. He'd write all out with a pencil, and then he'd give it to me, and I would just, on a really rudimentary spreadsheet, would kind of type in the numbers and just kind of keep it accurate for him. I have no idea if he ever used it when I give him back a sheet of paper with it all printed out. I have no clue, but it's come a long way since then, obviously. Now we've got 3 people that handle the cap. But things have changed a lot. The numbers have gone up tremendously. I mean, the base salary for a minimum when I came in the league, I think was maybe, $200,000 or something like that. So, yeah, it's gone up tremendously.
What's vet min now? 800?
I mean, it depends how many years in the league, but obviously for a veteran player, it's $1 million, the veteran minimum.
And what's the rookie min? What's the rookie min?
I don't have it with me, 600-700.
Yeah, but see, that new CBA was supposed to get the veteran min guys more money, but instead it's like, they actually saved $400,000. You get 2 of those guys. I mean, it's like the game that's always being played. Does Bill Polian ever reach out to you now? Do you still talk to Bill Polian?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you always got to keep in touch with your mentors. So, I keep in touch with them. I'll run things by him every now and then. I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge, so it's kind of good to have him on speed dial.
He's got to be proud of you, dude. We all are, man, by the way. Absolutely crushing it. Last question here from the boys. Go ahead, Ty.
Tom, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but when you go into an offseason and you know that you're going to be very active in trying to sign free agents or trade for guys, like how far are you pushing your draft prep off? Like, and especially when you guys aren't a team that's going to be picking, in the top 10 or whatever, but is it really you just kind of wait until free agency's done and then you address that a couple weeks before the draft starts?
Well, this is the thing people tend to forget in this business. So, we have a pro scouting staff, 4 people that work on pro scouting year round. We have a college scouting staff that works on college scouting year round, 7, 8 guys. That's all they do. So I rely on our pro staff, our college staff, as we get ready for free agency and get ready for the draft. I'll kind of go parallel lines in March, kind of work on draft a little bit of free agency. But we have a tremendous staff. Our college staff, Kevin Kelly and all of our scouts, they've been working on that 24/7. So I rely on those guys to narrow things down, get the board set. This is not a one-man show. This is a pretty big department of people. We talked about the cap people, but our scouting department is pretty large, and you have to trust them to do their jobs, which I do implicitly. They do a great job. So they work on that. It kind of comes all together. I'll kind of tie a bow around it as we get towards the draft, but they do a tremendous job.
How happy are you don't have to find a quarterback? Oh, that has to feel pretty good. That guy from Oregon just fell to 6.
Yeah.
Stud. 6'6", runs a 4.4. Yeah. Absolute stud. Tom, we can't thank you enough for joining us. I know you're very busy. Thank you for the time. You've always been incredibly nice. You're the man.
Appreciate it. Love coming on. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, no problem. Whenever we get out there, we can't wait to come see you.
Let's go anytime.
All right, cool. Because the Chargers social media is so damn good. You guys, prime to go. We appreciate you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring the show out. Thanks.
Oh.
On location.
From your office.
You still got that ping pong table?
Yes, we do. Yep.
How are you? Yeah. You stopped playing probably, huh? Because you were a little busy or no?
Yeah. I'll start practicing. You come out. We'll go.
All right, I'll pick the paddle back up too. Ladies and gentlemen,
how about you and Justin Herbert? You and Justin Herbert will play.
Is he a player?
I'm assuming he's probably pretty good at it. He's pretty much pretty good at everything. So he's a good ping pong player.
Me too. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Telesco. Hey, I bet he is pretty good.
I would assume.
Had older brothers.
Yep.
Very athletic.
Long. Yeah.
I ain't worried about that. little drop shot, get that big son of a bitch on
Yep.
his toes.
Bingo.
I ain't worried about nothing. Dwayne Allen was a guy who played a lot of ping pong. His arms were so long. He was so big. He was literally just a backboard. So no matter what you hit, he was just boom. You hit it to the side, boom. It was like you would have 15-minute rallies, basically. And he was just a backboard. You just have to hope that he hit the side of his fucking paddle. There's some really good ping pong players in the NFL. I'd assume Herbert's one of them. Tom Telesco, the first time we talked to him after he became GM, he showed us his office, and there was a ping pong table right there. I'm like, is this like Sirianni? Like, guys come in, he's like, all right, let's see how this fucker's got. All right, we're back in 4 minutes with Hour 2. Can't thank you all enough for joining us. AJ Hawkeyes back. He traveled yesterday. Can't wait to chat with him about the Davante Adams news and much, 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 much present. Much more. See you in a couple minutes. You guys are the best. Cheers. Out of respect for the Intercontinental Championship,
wait a minute.
I was going to try to remain professional, but what are you doing out here? Huh? Why are you here?
Podcast? Huh? Think you're going to main event WrestleMania with me? Get out of here. Get this guy out of here. Pat, come on. No, not this way, Pat. Come on, get some security down here. Pat, don't let him get to you. Pat, come on. God, somebody get out here. Do something. Pat, come on. Pat, come on. Enough, Pat. Pat, come on. Pat, come on. Pat, enough. Come on, enough. Pat, enough. Not like this. You're a pro, dude. Don't let that punt get to you. Just don't let him get to you, man. Not like that. You got him at Mania in a couple of weeks. Just let it be. Just let it be. See, now you have the security out here. That's how we're doing this. Huh? I hope you're ready. Huh? Come up here. That's a damn shame it had to happen like that. Pat's being escorted out by the security right now.
Let's go! Hawks are
are soaring, baby. Dude, they're about to win by 35.
Live bet these dogs at FanDuel now.
That's a great idea. There's no need to be in this situation anymore because live betting at FanDuel has never been easier. You simply open the app, identify your location, and boom, find the game you want to put some action on. It's easier than it ever has been before with our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. And then comes the best part. We'll see you tomorrow! Let's fucking go! Thank you, FanDuel.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to that show, Hour 2, on this Feel Good Friday, March 18th, 2022, shall begin right now. Yeah! And March Madness coverage has begun for day 2 here. Yesterday was obviously insane. Iowa gets dog-walked by the Richmond Spiders. The St. Peter's Peacocks with Edert.
Your guess is as good as ours.
He deserves more respect than we're giving him right now. He's a fucking stallion.
Yeah.
His coach said he's the best shooter in the entire country. The world's just seeing that. I believe him.
Mm-hmm.
He came off 2 pick and rolls for threes, not only to take the lead to tie that thing, but then to send them into the next round, knocking Kentucky out. The madness has already started. I guess there's only like less than 100 perfect brackets already, and those people were just fucking around picking it.
Yeah.
I assume they will go on to lose as well. The bracket bonanza 2.0 is really heating up. We will keep updated on that, obviously. The winner wins a Bitcoin. Second place wins lunch with Mitt and an autograph Baby Duke.
That's right.
Third place wins an autograph Baby Duke. Last place, person that comes in dead last, out of like 38, 39, or 40,000, I forget exactly how many came in and played, 40,000, gets the job shed of Tone Dicks.
Wow.
On
Guess
Friday.
who's in last right now?
Who's that?
Me. So.
That a baby Tone.
Hey!
That a baby Tone. That's smart play. That's a smart play. You would think that I was trying to come in last with the way my fucking picture going.
My
but
God.
That's what Iowa, Kentucky, Indiana, and the boys would do to you.
Oh, yeah.
Toxic Tables here at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. Ty's having a rough run.
I feel really bad for him.
Yeah, not a great day. Hey, it's Friday, though. Feel good Friday. But, you know,
Hey!
outside of that, you know, kind of.
A lot of whiskey and beers for Ty, drinking away his
Right.
sorrows. Colitis is kicking up, but Davante Adams is gone, and the Iowa Hawkeyes stink again.
Yeah.
Tone Diggs is here. He went 5-3 yesterday in March Madness. What do we like today?
Today, the first game, the Chicago, Illinois, and Ohio State. That's a toss-up for me. That's a close game. Auburn plays Jacksonville State. They're plus 16.5. I'm taking them.
Jacksonville State plus 16.5.
Which
Really?
didn't work early in the day for yesterday. I know Gumpy and I both like Virginia Tech. We both like LSU. We both like Colgate. And those are, Colgate's playing Wisconsin. And, of course, Michigan State's probably going to choke tonight.
Hey, Big Ten kind of getting her ass kicked, huh?
Yeah.
What's that all about? Indiana's out. Iowa's out. I guess
those
Michigan
Arkansas
won on.
boys won last night.
Well, that's
Arkansas is certainly not in the Big Ten.
No, I mean-
but you're right.
Yeah.
Woo Pig Silly. Woo Pig Silly. Joining us now is a Big Ten icon, a Big Ten legend, fresh out of a mountain. We had a baby Gumps watch every game. He told me about the San Francisco kid who dropped 35 last night and they lost. I'm
That game ended at 1 a.m.
Yeah, I'm like, how are you watching that game? I appreciate it, though, Gumpy. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Gump.
Thank you for your bets. Joining us now is a Big Ten legend, fresh off the slopes. And I'm not talking about cocaine. I'm talking about actual skiing. Seen his family feed some deers. He's back in Ohio. Ohio State takes on Loyola Chicago in about 30 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. Let's go Elks. Elk Pride.
What's up, guys? Ty, you doing okay?
I mean, what's okay, Not really, but it's Friday, so yeah, I'm doing okay.
Hey, your little stat and facts on the Wright State Raiders was actually right. You said, didn't they just win 20 in a row? They were near Centerville. You knew all about them, and we all buried you. AJ, you don't know shit, okay? You don't know anything. Turns out you did. Peter Kiss still hit his over, but now that you're back from vacation and you're kind of locked in, the first thing you saw as soon as you landed in Ohio is, Davante Adams is gone from the Green Bay Packers. That came out of nowhere for all of us. You, a little bit closer to the situation. Obviously, you're a Packer legend. You're best friends with Aaron Rodgers. Did you know this was coming? Did you know there was a chance of this? And how do you think Aaron is taking all of this, AJ?
No, this is a complete surprise to me. Like it was, I guess, the rest of the public that when this hit, I flew in, we got in, not too late last night, and all of a sudden I got texts from all kinds of people, and I see this, and I'm like, oh, this is actually real. I'm not getting a darn Schefter. I thought that for a second.
Yeah. We thought that as well. We thought that as well. And Gumpy was, I think, the first to see it in the group. I was in the middle of a workout, but as the 35 fucking text messages came in the group in 5 minutes, I opened it up. I'm like, oh, something must have happened, like either very bad or insane. I thought Deshaun Watson. I'm like, oh, Deshaun Watson must have been on a move. Of course, I missed it. And I stared at that Schefter tweet in the group text 10 times, and I clicked on it, and I was like, is that actually Schefter? Yeah, and then Rappaport has a follow-up. We all, I think, thought it was a fugazi, AJ. It all seemed about
Hey, in that tweet, what exactly does Rapp mean when he talks about the compensation, the money matters, and is a big factor?
Well, so I think that has also been kind of deep.
This was before. Wait, is this? He said this before it was reported that the Packers were willing to match or pay more than what the Raiders were.
Yes, I do believe that's why that tweet was happening. That hey, the money does matter, because although it is only a 1 and a 2, and it's worth 140. Final thought for now: the Davante Adams trade. His agents Frank Barr and Kenny Chapman confirmed that the Packers offered more money than the contract he'll sign in Las Vegas. Simply, it was his lifelong dream to be with the Raiders. So he's a NorCal guy. I guess he was a Raiders fan. Obviously played at Fresno State alongside Derek Carr, who was his roommate, I think. He just bought a house next to Derek Carr in Vegas just literally yesterday. So assuming that realtor knew before all of us.
Yeah.
And I assume Derek Carr, whenever he saw Davante pull up in a U-Haul, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm fucking coming here. Is that deal done? No, I don't think it's going to happen. And Derek's like, thank God. Yeah. Oh, my God, this is amazing.
When did they start working on it, though? That's what I'm curious on the timeline. If this was Davante's wishes, when did he make that known, I guess, to Green Bay or to his agents or anybody else?
And I wonder if it was because they put the franchise tag on him before negotiating a long-term deal, if that was the final... Davante's fuck these guys. I can't take this anymore. Is it because he just wanted to play for the Raiders? Is it because Wisconsin has a 7.7% state income tax? So if you do that over $142 million, that's $11 or $12 million difference, which is a massive thing. Is it because Vegas in December is beautiful. And Lambeau in December is... also beautiful, but 2-3 feet of snow. Yeah. Is it all what is it? I wonder. And what does Aaron, think about it all? Have you talked? I have not. I have not talked to him. I do not talk to him though on a regular basis. It is assumed that you do. So have you? Did he know this was coming in your eyes? Do you think? And how? That's a big fucking deal, right? Aaron and Davante are a tag team that everybody in the NFL is looking to have, and now they're kind of broken up. That's insane to me.
I mean, it's absolutely insane when you think about how all of this happened, and all of a sudden Aaron signs his deal. He's coming back. Davante's tagged. Oh wait, no, we're trading him to the Raiders. And he gets a gigantic contract through them. Yeah, I mean, from what it sounds like when you hear him say that the Packers were willing to pay him more than the Raiders, and he still went to the Raiders. What happened that made him not want to be in Green Bay? And is this something new? That's why I think anyone I talk to seems pretty confused.
Yeah. Just like I think Deshaun's going to Atlanta because he's a human, that's going back home. Feels like that would be something you'd want to do after.
Congrats, Matt Ryan's going to Indy then, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're saying that would be the next domino of fall. And welcome to Indy, Matt.
There you go.
Excited for you to restructure your contract, Matt Ryan. Excited for that to happen.
It's not very nice.
What?
You want to restructure or take a pay cut?
Restructure. Get all the money you're going to. How about Atlanta, by the way, saying the bonus he was due today That'll go to Tuesday. How about that? That just happened, and everybody, like, they just reported it. Like, Atlanta Falcons now have pushed back the $7.5 million roster bonus due Friday to QB Matt Ryan to Tuesday, giving Atlanta 4 extra days to hear the Deshaun Watson decision and be able to trade Ryan if necessary, per league sources. That's just reported as if, like, yeah, that's okay.
Casual.
Like, how the fuck does that happen? You know, is that just like, so can I, if somebody owes me money, am I allowed to say, hey, that money you're supposed to give me in 2 months, I want it now? Well, that's not in the contract. Well, did you see what the Falcons did?
Yeah.
They just moved that thing 4 days. How does that work, you think?
He had to agree to it, right? Matt Ryan, his agent, had to agree to it.
You think it's like a...
Yeah, and they might be at the point where they're like Baker, like, yeah, whatever, dude. Just give us our fucking money at some point. Get me out. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Go ahead, Diggs.
I can't remember what comedian it was, but the whole, like, you know, the way that my bank account works, you know, we can't pay you on Friday. We have to move it to Tuesday type thing. Like,
You think that's what the blank
The way
family?
that the deposit works and the withdrawals, and then you have to have the 2 days of processing and stuff like that. Maybe.
So it actually wouldn't hit till Tuesday anyways with that large of an amount,
Yeah,
Matt.
right.
You understand how it is. Not that big of a deal. And also, we don't want to pay it. I mean, we're the ones that did the contract. We don't want to pay it. We would like the next team to have to pay you for that. So let's just go ahead and shoo that thing to Tuesday. And if on his first day as a Colt, Matt Ryan received $7.5 million, I think that's pretty similar to what happened with Carson Wentz. Like his first day as a Colt, he got like a $3 million bonus or something like that. That worked out fantastically. I'm assuming this one will as well. Matt Ryan, proven veteran leader.
That's right. Been to a Super Bowl.
Who's been there before. You know, be able to get the boys into the right place. You know,
MVP, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Carson Wentz still was in that conversation a few years back as well. But, I mean, Matt Ryan's got a lot to prove still. He's 37 years old, still got 10 years left in him with the way he takes care of himself. Matty Ice is a player. When he gets to Indianapolis, by the way, till he buys this house that's right down there. He might, hey, nah, Boston College guy. He ain't buying smokes $30 million. But there's a house down here that you basically buy half the city. It's $14 million. You got your own pond and lake. Matt Ryan, the Ryan family's going to look amazing there. With that being said, if Deshaun goes to New Orleans, what the fuck happens with it for the Colts in their quarterback situation? Let's follow up. I'd like to get your take on this because we covered it yesterday live in real time as we were drinking green beer for St. Patrick's Day. And happy St. Patrick's Day to you, AJ.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hope you
You too. Sorry I missed it. I saw it looked like fun. I saw it. Admit he eventually got the keg tapped.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he signed up for that, by the way. I was like, all right, who's tapping the keg? I said, I am not. I haven't done this in a long time, and it's tough or whatever. Well, I could do it, Mitt. Mitt says, he goes, I know what to do. And then he watched a YouTube video, he said, and then they were going to open. I said, well, let's do that outside, right? Because I have been at one of these before.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen this entire thing. And him, it was out of a movie, wasn't it? I mean, that was right out of a movie.
Yeah.
Green beer right to your face. Mick got the job done, though. Let's not.
He did.
A lot of green beers were had.
AJ, in my defense, the kegs that I've usually tapped, the whatever the tap is usually really bad. That one, industrial tap, and it's really good.
It was an industrial tap. I mean, it was a real.
Hey, I wasn't knocking Mitt. Believe me, the same thing would have probably happened to me, Mitt. It's been a while.
Me as well. That's why I did not sign up on it and said, somebody else can do this. I am not going to be caught on camera not being able to tap a keg because that would go against everything I kind of stand for. And a lot of my college friends would be pissed off about it. But I have seen this fail. I have failed doing this before. And normally, you know, you have like the hose tap.
Yeah.
Like the very cheap. This one.
Oh, yeah.
State of the art.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really nice. We got taken care of. It was very nice of them. But yeah, we got to figure it out. We had a bunch of green beer. We had a good day. Iowa Hawkeyes stink. Davante Adams on the move. It was a good St. Patrick's Day. Happy to hear you here. We were able to cover something live, though, on the show, as our show stunk without you, by the way. Yeah. Quentin Richardson came on. He was awesome. Thanks. We got to have him back on a better show whenever we're not all boozed up and having that whole conversation. But the Baker Mayfield saga is awesome. Especially as an Ohio guy, you know, and Ohio people, especially Cleveland people. The way this is all going to go PR-wise, I don't think any of it bodes well for Baker Mayfield. And I am a Baker Mayfield guy. I think you've seen me on ESPN, Baker Mayfield guy. Supporting Baker Mayfield. Have said and talked ad nauseum about how Baker Mayfield had a torn broken humerus and a torn labrum. That's got to be difficult. I don't think I've ever buried Baker Mayfield, to be honest. Don't think I ever have. A lot of situations where it's like, that doesn't seem like the right move, but he's young, he's an NFL quarterback, and he's won for the Cleveland Browns. With that being said, whenever he screenshotted his notes section and put it out there, that felt like a goodbye to Cleveland.
Yep.
Cleveland ends up out of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Cleveland then wants to go meet with Baker Mayfield to tell him, like, hey, we did want Deshaun Watson, okay? We did want him to be our quarterback. He didn't want us. So now guess what? You're back in the driver's seat. Congratulations. Baker Mayfield said, it's too far gone. I don't even want to meet with you. I guess old Cuzzy was going to fly down, chat with him. I don't want to do it. He's commanding a trade. Then, immediately following the public announcement of Baker Mayfield wanting a trade through his insider, Albert Breer comes in. He's like, yeah, the Cleveland Browns aren't going to do that. So, and then bang, another follow-up. Baker Mayfield to Schefter. The Baker Mayfield team feels as if the relationship is too far gone and there's no way to recover this, so they are still demanding a trade. And then that would have gone on all day. The Browns would have came back out and said, we don't care. See you fucking OTAs.
All right.
It's an interesting dynamic in which Baker has no leverage. And I am a big-time player guy. I think everybody says I'm a player guy to a fault. Too much of a player guy, almost, is what people say. But in this situation, on his first contract, he has won a playoff game, but I think there's still a lot of questions around the league. If he was to hold out, I don't know if there's any other teams that'd be like, yeah, we want that guy on his rookie contract to hold out. It feels like the Browns have all the leverage and Baker has none. Am I wrong in thinking that? And the Browns, by the way, can spin this PR-wise. We wanted Deshaun Watson. We wanted to make our team better. We obviously weren't able to do that. Now we can't wait to see what Baker Mayfield does on a contract year. We still want him in the future if he can learn how to play in our style and our system and take us to places we've never been. It's just like, I think Baker's in a bad spot here. PR-wise, actual-wise, contract-wise, football-wise. But this is going to get ugly, I think, before it gets better over there.
Well, I mean, there's multiple questions I have. Like, first, did the Browns do this? Is this partly a negotiation thing to try to drive up more interest? If they don't want to get rid of him, it's going to take a little bit more than we thought to get Baker, for someone to come try to trade for him. Do you think that's a possibility?
Josina just reported it would be a third, possibly a second. That would turn into
That's
a second.
it.
Yeah, that's it.
Either way, is there any way that Baker plays for the Browns this year?
I think he's going to have to. Unless
okay, I mean, if it's this bad now, I guess you can work. Anything is possible. You can get through anything. That's true. Like, what's your old boy, your old Pittsburgh guy, Mr. Rodgers? If it's mentionable, it's manageable. I believe that was one of his things he used to say.
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay.
So maybe they can talk it out. I don't know. Like, but it doesn't sound like Baker wants to be there. How do his teammates feel about it now? Do his teammates feel like he bailed on him or he's bailing on them? I doubt that's the case. I'm sure each guy has their own opinion of him, but guys understand the business part of it is if this is a business thing. But also, Baker and his agent, and they have to have a couple places that they feel they want to go to be able to say this. There has to be some spots they think they can go.
So Indianapolis is his preferred destination.
Yeah.
Multiple people have reported that now. Tony Pauline from the Pro Football Network reported that, and then it was a follow-up by, who was it? Skinny. I don't know. Somebody else said, like, yeah, Indianapolis is his preferred destination. That would mean Indianapolis would want to be in the game. But once again, that would leave the Browns without a quarterback. And the Browns aren't going to do that until they know who their quarterback is. They're not going to move on. And they said, we're not going to accommodate his request. They said that publicly. Yeah. They're like, hey, Baker can say all the fuck he wants. We do not care. And that's the business side of it, though, right? Like, that is what people don't.
I saw this question posed, I believe, on one of the shows this morning. It said something like, is this a bad look for the Browns to not grant his trade request? And I'm thinking, I had never crossed my mind that the team is at fault when a player demands a trade like this in this fashion, and they say, no, sorry. Like, they may eventually trade him, but right off the bat, of course, they're not going to jump and be like, yeah, whatever you need, sir. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah, you're in their sandbox. And I think that's what people need to remember when they're at their work and when they're working for somebody and when you're in their sandbox, okay? Inevitably, you can do all you want, but you're in their world. In the NFL, when you sign a contract to a team, you are employed by that team. They have all the control. It is a business. You are the thing on the table that is being negotiated about in Pawn Stars. You are not the person that is trying to sell something. You're not the person trying to buy something. You are the person that is on the table. And whatever the fuck they want to do, they can do. That is just that's why you hear a lot of guys get jaded. A lot of guys hate the business. They hate the NFL because they have no say. It's like, this is the OGs talking to the young guys in the locker room when the young guys are like, oh, come on, guys, let's have fun. And it's like, yeah, have fun. It's a fucking game, but wait until you get fucked. It's going to happen. There's not a lot of people that have their entire NFL careers where they don't get fucked. Like, it is going to happen business-wise at some point, and you're going that little joy for the game that you had as a high schooler and college and even into the NFL is going to get a little bit tainted whenever it's like, oh, I thought we were just playing a kid's game or whatever. Yeah, it is a kid's game. But anytime you put that amount of money on something and you sign contracts and there's so much at stake in jeopardy and future and everything, it's just like, it happens. The Browns don't have to do a damn thing, AJ. The Browns don't have to.
What's the comments? Was it Mort who said the Browns want an adult at quarterback? Has that been like confirmed? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, because that comes out there. And not just that, by the way.
Baker has to absolutely hate that that's out there.
I hate that. And then also the clips that they're showing of Baker walking on the sideline, none of his teammates are talking to him.
Nope.
So it's like they're choosing. Now it's becoming the full.
And when they show anything, I saw a thing with no sound in the airport. They're talking about Baker, and they show like 15 interceptions he throws. I'm like, he threw a few touchdowns in there too.
Yeah, Baker needs to know that he's going against a billionaire now. Like this is who has relationships. Like that's what this is going to get into. That's why I hate this because I'm a super player guy. Baker has he has no control and no leverage in this situation either, and it stinks. Hey, but that is literally the business that we've tried to talk about.
So the child thing coming out from Mort, and then is it a good look for him that he wouldn't let Jimmy Haslam fly to him and meet with him and maybe try to talk it through? Like that's not the most mature of looks either. Like what's his trade market going to be for teams? Like do they? Like I assume they care about that.
No, listen, I am a guy that is big time. Hey, go fuck yourself, guy. Okay, but I work for me, so.
Maybe if you want to do that, let the owner at least fly to you and say to his face that after you hear him out, I guess.
Yeah, and I've done that, by the way. I've let people come in here after telling them, nah, I ain't going to listen to you. Well, we'd like to meet in person. Cool. Come on out. Sit down. Let's go ahead and do this. Then they have the full conversation. I say, thank you for coming out here. Probably not going to amount to anything. Take care. But at least it's like a business thing. But once again, I work for me. I don't it's a little bit of it's a different game when you're accepting somebody else's paycheck. Like that's the fact of life. There's fairy tale land where everybody gets everything that they want and they deserve and they earn and the best opportunity. Like, hey, listen, that is something that we're all striving to get to in all walks of life and all businesses. But here in reality, boom. There's contracts, there's manipulative motherfuckers, there's people that have bad intentions, there's things that happen. I'm not saying in the NFL, I'm just talking about in life.
There's a million other people that want your job too.
And they know that. And everybody knows that. You're a piece of gum. When your flavor runs out, so does the time chewing your piece of gum. And then they get another one out, and they do it. It's just...
That's what they say.
That is literally what they say. That is what life is. Joining us now, a man who might know more about all things happening around the NFL. Friend of the show. We actually got a chance to see him sit right here. He is obviously very handsome, but the guy he was with is the coolest guy of all time.
Yeah.
Emmy-nominated host of Good Morning Football, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager. What up, Schrags?
What's up, guys? Crazy week, and I'm so happy to be with you here today.
Yeah, it was a wild St. Patty's in the NFL. I mean, they're getting boozed up, kegs and eggs in the NFL for sure. Let's talk. Before we dive into Davante and the Raiders and the Rams making plays and Von Miller and everything, which we assume you have massive amount of information about, are we reading this wrong? And we're normally player dudes. I mean, we are maybe the most pro player show in the history of any show that's ever had the amount of people that watch this particular show. Baker's got no leverage. I mean, he's got no leverage in this entire thing, even though that stinks and we don't like it. They're going to have to make up, right? Is that how the Browns are seeing this entire thing from your perspective, Shrakes?
I mean, I want to tell you that there's teams with quarterbacks like Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, and those teams aren't going and courting Deshaun Watson. And it clearly was they look at this as the final year of the Baker Mayfield experience. We know it's going to affect him. We know how sensitive he is. We know how emotional he is. And yet we're going to go and openly meet with Deshaun Watson. And if Baker isn't happy with that, then we'll deal with the wreckage afterwards. So, yes, he has very little leverage here. He can demand a trade, but I think the Browns brass is like, all right, yeah, sure. We'll trade you if we want to trade you. And I think it's interesting. Last year, Jared Goff went through this situation where everyone was, traded. They trade for Stafford. And it's like handled it in a way that you might say, oh, you feel bad for Goff, but he never came out publicly and trashing it, and said, hey, this and that. Jimmy Garoppolo, the last several years with Brady being the rumors, and then Rodgers being the rumors, and Trey Lance, never went out publicly and did anything, kind of took it on the chin and said, let's go. There's a way that people like seeing their quarterbacks respond, and then for Baker to write this screed, or actually it was a letter, but it put him against the team, and then to demand a trade, I could tell you that the trade demand wasn't exactly, it doesn't have Cleveland shaking in their boots or anything.
Yeah, and then Cleveland, by the way, responded. Sister Jean has made her first appearance.
Wow.
Congrats to Sister Jean.
She looks
Thank
good.
you,
She
Sister
does look
Jean.
good. She looks very good.
It's her last game in the tournament. She better get comfortable.
Whoa. They're up 5-2 right now over OH. Make it 5-4. That was a big-time dunk. I mean, big-time play. But, yeah, that whole give and take there about we're commanding a trade and then the Browns saying, hey, listen, we don't care. Like that was awesome yesterday. And just another day in the NFL, the massive amount of entertainment. Let's talk about the Davante Adams trade to the Raiders. This came out of nowhere for us. For Ty especially. I mean, our little drunk colitis having guy here who saw Iowa get their asses beat by the Richmond Spiders, and then he went to bed drinking whiskey on St. Patrick's Day, seeing Davante Adams, the top 2 wide receiver, not 2, leave the Packers because he wanted to. What are you hearing about this? He just wanted to go play for the Raiders? I think Rappaport tweeted that was his childhood fandom was the Raiders. What are you hearing about all of this? And did this come out of nowhere in your eyes?
Me, yes, but the more I get into it, I realize that I just wasn't doing a great job as a reporter, that there was a lot of signs on the wall. Truthfully, speaking around the league, it was kind of like Green Bay was put in this position where Davante Adams clearly told them he does not want to play on the tag. They tagged him, and he was like, that's it. Like, that was the end of the road. He was done. Now, Green Bay had 2 options. One, they could play chicken with a guy for 4 months and let this drag on all summer and make this be the topic of the day every single day. And are we going to do this? Or they could say, you know what? Doesn't want to be here. He's 29 years old. He wants to make $28 million. There's a team who's willing to pay him that. Let's rip the Band-Aid off now, trade him to the Raiders, get the draft picks, and then have that money to go spend elsewhere, and we can go and pay for a wide receiver, or we can trade for a veteran wide receiver and use that money. So it was one of those deals where, of course, at the end of the day, everyone's like, well, they offered him more money, and he look, this thing was done apparently before even this season. It got to this point where he wanted to have a contract last year and didn't get it. They dragged this thing on, and Pat, you'll know better than I, and AJ, you'll know better, but apparently Rodgers was aware of the whole situation, and this did not blindside Aaron Rodgers. I've obviously not spoken to Aaron, but that's the word you're getting out of Green Bay, and it's kind of like, okay, let Davante go do what he wants to do. He wants to be a Raider. Great. We're pretty close to a championship here with the Packers. If he doesn't want to play for the money and he's unhappy, let him go. But let's do it now in March when there's still receivers that we can sign. And there still might be some veteran receivers we can trade for. And now we've got a bit of a war chest. The money that would have cost to keep him, we can use. And last point, the franchise tag going way into like June and July, that's $20 million of cap space that they can't spend. You get rid of him now, and I say get rid of him because they traded him, and he's going to make more money than any player who's not a quarterback in the history of the sport. They're going to trade him.
Congrats.
Now. They can now use that money that's not hovering over them. So they're in salary cap hell. And then, hey, wait, maybe it's not so bad. We trade our best receiver, but now we can maybe find another alternative if he didn't want to be here.
So are you hearing anything on what they're going to do now, though, Schrags? We're talking about who he's going to throw to. You'd love to have a possible number one. Would they look to go trade and try to pick up a blockbuster receiver off another team, or are they going to just, I guess, count on drafting a few of them and hope they work?
Yeah, I don't see the 22nd and 28th pick being like, all right, that's our solution. We're going to go trade for those guys, or we're going to go draft those guys, and suddenly Aaron at that
pretty
age.
Schrags.
Ty's head just hit the table over here.
The move that I would look at is let's start calling up for some veterans here. So Robert Woods might be on the block after they just signed Allen Robinson. I would call there. I would call Seattle. I would ask what DK Metcalf's situation is. I would call LA Chargers. You had Tom Telesco on the phone. Gosh, you're paying $20 million to Keenan Allen, and you're paying how much money to Mike Williams? Or either one. I mean, Mike Williams just signed. Is Keenan Allen available? He's a Cal guy. Is that going to make Aaron happy? Like, I would start calling around and start looking at that tier of player. Where
I love.
This guy's coming back to life.
Keep going, Trace. Come on.
Bring this guy back to life.
Money now. You know, you look at some of these players on these teams that are making good money, and now the Packers can spend some money and have to pay these guys. But I would say none of those possibilities could happen if Adams is still unhappy on the roster going into training camp in July. You do it in March, you can at least make those phone calls and see what guys are doing. And we made a lot of news on football when I said like Keenan Allen's name and I said DK Metcalf's name. That doesn't come from those teams. It doesn't come from those agents. That comes from me looking at the numbers on these things. And DK Metcalf is going into one of these deals where he doesn't have a quarterback right now that is a proven entity. He's going to be eventually signed to a huge contract. They already paid Tyler Lockett money. Like, I don't know. I'd call John Schneider, an old Packers executive, and say, is there a chance? Is there a market? If we give you a first-round pick, would you trade us DK Metcalf? I don't know. So that's the challenge now. It was one thing to rip the Band-Aid off and get it done, but now that the wounds are kind of healing and it's 24 hours removed or 16 hours removed, whatever it is it time to now start thinking, okay, now we got to go be aggressive? And yeah, there are some free agents. Like, Jarvis Landry is a good player. I don't know if that solves the Davante Adams void, but he's a good player. And Odell Beckham might be back from a knee injury at some point. And Juju Smith-Schuster has done some good things in this league. So the cupboard is not bare, but it would have been had they waited until May or June to do this.
So this is all pundit Pete talking this morning. You know, like DK and Keenan Allen. That was all pundit Pete. You were the only insider that we know in the game that didn't put a timeline on when Deshaun Watson was going to make his decision. Remember, that became like the new insider thing. Like, look for his answer tonight or tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Oh, 24
Or
36.
Jimmy. I said that to you guys. I don't see a rush on Jimmy either. And here we are a week later, and I told you on both of those. But go on.
No, hey, by the way, hashtag Peter knew.
Pete knew.
Pete knew. That is awesome.
Source.
Anybody ever call you Pete, or is it always Peter?
Peter. No, Pete is just not for me. Peter.
Pistol Pete, dude.
All right, so Pundit Peter, why don't you put your little insider cap on here? Deshaun Watson's going back to Atlanta, then Matt Ryan's come to the Indianapolis Colts, and then they're restructuring his contract. And how come the Falcons were able to say, hey, that bonus you were due on Friday, now it's due on Tuesday? Like, how does this whole thing work, and how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, they pushed that back 4 extra days so they can kind of wiggle on.
Oh,
this.
somebody else can fucking pay that. Yeah, that was what they did.
And if they could trade him, that other team's going to have to. But Ryan obviously has been quiet. And you look at the Baker Mayfield situation, there's different points in their careers, obviously. But like Matt Ryan, this has not got a this probably was a bit of an ego or something. But then it's like, all right, there might be a new future for me. But as I hear it right now, and yesterday, I swear, and this is how funny it is, everyone was like, New Orleans, New Orleans, New Orleans. And then for Deshaun Watson today, I'm getting a lot of people texting me and like, it's Atlanta. He wants to go home. I'm like, well, Atlanta was in the mix since Tuesday. So why did it change from Thursday to Friday? So I'm not going to give you a lead right now because I think we probably will find out by Monday, but we'll see. Because there's other parts of this. There's 3 different elements. Deshaun Watson basically at the end of the day gets to waive his no trade clause and decide who. Houston, now that they've got 2 down to the wire, they can change the terms a little bit and say, all right, I'm going to use you and leverage you off you. Can we get a little
Jack
bit more?
Easterby is man of the Lord. He would not do that.
Easterby. And then the last piece of it would be, of course, the teams that are trading for him, Atlanta, New Orleans, they can walk away at any point if they want. I think the Matt Ryan piece is really interesting because I still think Matt Ryan's got good football left to play. I think Matt Ryan played well last year.
Me too.
And if you're Indianapolis, if you're Seattle, if you are, I'll throw Carolina in there, but they're not going to go within the division. And then, even you look at some of these teams that have quarterbacks that might want to upgrade a little bit on like a 1-year deal, like Cleveland right now, and say, does Matt Ryan not put us closer to a chip this year than Baker Mayfield? You got to consider it. So I think a few dominoes are gonna start falling soon, but it all hinges on Deshaun Watson.
Come on, Andy, Matt.
Schrager, hey, going back to the Packers and the Davante situation, you tried to say that you didn't do a great job as a reporter because there were signs out there that something may be up with the whole Davante thing. Like, what kind of signs were out there now that you're looking back?
Just how furious and upset he was that he was franchise tagged when he said time and time again he didn't want to be franchise tagged. And I think we all assume, well, Aaron signed, so now you're good, right? And they'll make it work and we'll figure it. But I think he was really hurt by the fact that him as an individual was viewed as like 1B maybe in that situation. And, the fact that we had been hearing how unhappy he was, and I think Tom Telesco and Ian Rappaport did a good job on NFL Network that day where he was franchise tagged, and they're like, Adams is not happy right now, and he does not plan on playing on this. And when you hear that, it's like, okay, it's more than just the franchise tag. Maybe it's way more than that. The other piece was, I watch the NFL Network a lot, and David Carr, whether he indirectly did it or directly did it last week, was like, Davante bought a house in Las Vegas recently. And I'm like, Davante bought a house in Las Vegas recently? Like, that's a pretty big commitment to a place that you don't necessarily live as your prime, so like little things were on the wall. And then today it's a nice story to say that it was his hometown team and he'd always wanted to play there and that, Derek Carr's his buddy. Those are all great things. But I think The truth of the matter was he was done with the Packers, and that was what I should have been focusing on, not how they're going to make this work financially, because at the end of the day, the Packers did step up financially, and he still said, I don't want to play for you guys.
I think the Poncha Karma conversation, Aaron said, like, Davante does not want the franchise tag.
Yeah, he did.
I think he even said it, like, Davante does not want the franchise. Nobody wants. Then he went into like, and nobody wants a franchise tag. But I don't think Davante wants a franchise tag. That's
you hear that a lot. You hear that a lot, and then this one, like people who are in the know are like, no, like that will piss him off. And I think the toothpaste was already out of the tube by that point. But I figured once Aaron, just by human nature, signed that they would be like, all right, the two of us are so close to getting a chip. Let's do this. But Davante obviously was at the end of the road with the Packers management, just as we thought Rodgers was last offseason.
See, here's being who you can afford to be, by the way. Davante not happy, commanding a trade. Raiders like, you got it.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield commanding a trade. Cleveland's like, shut the fuck up. It's a very interesting, that is the difference, though, between like, hey, being like the number one, number two guy at your position and being a guy that has a lot of promise and a lot of focus. It's like, be who you can afford to be has always been around the NFL, and we're kind of witnessing it on display now publicly.
Well, you also see it with Deshaun Watson. People are like, the off the field stuff is a big deal, and yet it's the counter is he's Deshaun Watson, he's a player. So like teams are openly courting this guy. It's unsavory for a lot of people, but they're not doing that for quarterbacks who aren't of that. Like so, like that's just what in the NFL. Like you can dictate your terms when they view you as that type of player on the field. So Davante Adams being upset and demanding a trade, like there was a market for him. Baker Mayfield demanding a trade, like the Browns aren't going to say, yes, let's make that happen.
We'll get a fucking 6th-round pick for you.
I would add in the Raiders side of it. Do you guys know Dave Ziegler's story at all? The GM of the Raiders, like this is
Dolph
the kind
Ziegler.
of deal you would love. Dolph Ziegler,
New England.
Dave Ziegler is the GM. This guy was college teammates with McDaniels at John Carroll, which I'm sure you guys know is an Ohio like powerhouse in Division III. They were college teammates there. McDaniels gets all these coaching jobs. Ziegler takes a while. He was coaching at Iona in New York, and while he was at Iona, he would be an extra on Law and Order and on Sopranos. Like he was an actor as an extra. He would make spare cash that way. All right. Then he goes and takes a job to be a high school wide receivers coach at Chaparral High School in Arizona, which I'm told is like their powerhouse in Arizona, and becomes this like great high school coach and also a guidance counselor at a high school. This is less than like 15 years ago. Emma Stone, the actress,
Holy
right?
shit.
Fan of her work. She's pretty good.
Great.
Her brother is a guy named Spencer Stone.
Great name.
Dave Ziegler was his coach in high school, and he was his guidance counselor. Like all this
Stoner.
So eventually,
Delicious.
this is what you got to love. Ziegler links back up with McDaniels, gets with him in Denver, and then he gets to New England with him. And 15 years later, he's the GM, and everyone's kind of like, all right, what's he going to do? So many GMs are sitting on their hands. So many GMs are like, well, the salary cap, I don't know. This guy comes out swinging. Chandler Jones trades in Ngakoue, goes out, gets Davante Adams. Like, you get a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. First offseason, he makes 3 of the biggest transactions. I just love that. I think the LA Rams kind of set that in motion last year, where it's like, what are we doing? Like, let's just go for it. And I kind of respect the Raiders, and it does feel very silver and black that they're taking this swing.
Yeah, so we love it as well, by the way. And you're talking about a lot of GMs sitting on their hands. We've been watching that as well. Real close. We've been watching that real close. Let's talk about the Rams. Von Miller signs a 100-year, $6 billion contract.
That's right.
That isn't real. I love how these are reported sometimes for some players and not. But Von Miller going to Buffalo. Brandon Beane just wanted them bad. Were the Rams in that conversation? Were they in that discussion? Because we just assumed he was going back to L.A. Now he's in Bills Mafia. Game changer. The odds did change for the Bills whenever he got there. He's a playmaker, obviously. Brandon Beane's going all in here. What did you know about Von Miller? That seemed to blindside all of us as well.
Yeah, going into free agency, I spoke with the Rams guys, and they had 3 objectives. They wanted to bring back Von Miller as 1, get Noteboom and get Allen on the offensive line. They took care of 2 and 3, and I said it on Good Morning Football. Every hour that goes by that Von Miller hasn't been re-signed by the Rams, something is fishy going on here, and it stretched on to 3 days. The Bills made this gonzo crazy offer to him where I don't think it's the wrong offer. They're looking to get over the top. I think the numbers blew the Rams away, and then they kind of found a way to match it for a shorter period of time. But by that point, Von's numbers with the Bills, and it wasn't like it was Jacksonville or the Jets. It was the Bills who he viewed as a contender. It was a lot of money, and it was money that the Rams couldn't offer. So I could tell you, McVay called him 3 different times over the course of a couple hours to try to convince him to come back on a 2-year deal and say, hey, we can get you this much. It's a lot of money, But at that point, Von, really, essentially, that deal that he signed with Buffalo is probably a 3-year deal. It's a 2-year deal if you want to look at it.
What? 6? 6 of them.
It's really backloaded, but it still was way more money than what the Rams could offer. And at the end of the day, the Rams really tried, and they were bummed, and they were upset because they wanted Von back. But the second he said he is coming to Buffalo, as to a man, that whole organization was like, all right, that's found money, because we kind of earmarked all that for Von. Now we have money, and you talk about a team that just says, okay, let's go out and get what we want. They talk to Stafford, and Allen Robinson's a Ram right now. And it's like, that's how you respond. All right, so that happens. Let's go make a move. And you'd like to think the Packers are now in that mode where,
hey, Woods is on the move. Woods is on the move now, because we started thinking like Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Woods there. I mean, they got a stack if the Odell goes back. Plus,
they hope to bring back Odell, by the way. I think that's the hope. And last year when they got Odell, it was like 8 weeks into the season. It was in November, and it took them a couple of weeks to get it. And then it was like, all right, we got Odell. So it's almost like the same deal if he comes back from the ACL. They love Robert Woods. I think the reports are true that if teams are calling for Robert Woods, they would listen to calls. But they love Robert Woods. They would love to keep Robert Woods. But he's also an expensive wide receiver. And if someone's willing to give them something good for him, I think they would listen.
So, like, a team that doesn't have a quarterback yet would still be in the market maybe for a wide receiver? Or you think, like, most teams that don't have quarterbacks yet, but they have 7 fucking Pro Bowlers who did make the Pro Bowl?
What did Telesco tell you? Trust Chris Ballard and Frank Reich.
Trying to.
Listen, I love Chris Ballard, okay? That's Southern speaking. He's given us great interviews over the years. He's been a fantastic person to me personally. I've never worked for him. I have a lot of respect for Frank Reich. He was my quarterback coach my rookie year in the NFL, okay? Cool. I have a lot of respect for these guys. With that being said, we lost to Clanton and did not make the playoffs, and now we don't have a quarterback, and it's a very... But, hey, that's what March is all about. It's about the madness on the court and the insanity in the NFL. Oh, yeah. Tom Diggs has a question for you, Schrags, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Schrags, I don't know if you've done your insider job on these guys or not, so it's a risky question. But there's still some big name guys out there like Wagner, Honey Badger, other defensive guys, Gilmore. Mm-hmm. Have you heard any about these other bigger names and where they can go?
I don't, and I think there might be a little more time for them. I remember a couple of years ago, we had similar thing with an Earl Thomas, and it took a couple of days, and Matthew Judon a couple of years ago. Last year it took a couple of days. Like, I think a guy like Wagner, who's 31 years old, I think the dust will settle a little bit. You're always going to get those big young free agents on day one. Then you're going to get those next guys, and that was Chandler Jones and Von Miller on like day 2 or day 3. But I would expect Honey Badger, Gilmore, and Bobby Wagner to get signed in the next few days. But I had a feeling that none of those 3 were going to be day one types where everyone's going to swing for the moon for those guys because of the stage they are in their career.
What about the Colts, dude?
Ooh. I don't know. And I said something like on Good Morning Football that like Colts fans got really pissed about. I said, Christian Kirk is going to make 4 years, $72 million. And everyone says, well, he's 25. And they're like, and I said, he'd be the number 1 wide receiver for the Colts. And like Michael Pittman Army came after me. And I'm like, all right, I like Michael Pittman, but like, is it so crazy to say that he's not your bona fide number 1 wide receiver? And there are guys out there. Maybe Michael Pittman will eventually be your number 1 wide receiver, but I don't come out of this season thinking he's one of the top 10 guys in the league. So you'd like to see them active at the wide receiver position. And in the quarterback spot, if they play their cards right, they'll still have an option of going after a Mariota, Jameis, or trading for a Matt Ryan if Deshaun does end up in Atlanta, or a Jimmy Garoppolo or a Baker Mayfield. You're in the same place you were in. The only name that they really lost out on in this whole thing was Trubisky, who out of the was signed with Pittsburgh.
Rodgers.
Russell Wilson wasn't coming there because
why?
He wanted to go to Denver. Denver was the team. I don't know how active or how many conversations they were had, but he didn't go there. And he's
Jim Irsay, fly the fucking plane to Russell's house.
One time.
Jim.
Golly.
Give him Smoke's house.
Irsay's not building like the Rockies in Indianapolis.
Or just legalizing marijuana. Does Russ like marijuana? Is that why you want to go to Denver?
Not his thing.
Straight arrow.
You don't know. Team
Great
3 is
guys.
probably blowing trees.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we don't know what the case is. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Schrags, just for the record, I do love the nickname Pete, so if you ever come around on it, just let us know. But
I love you.
I appreciate it. Love you too, Schrags. The Patriots have been linked to L. Collins, and now that, the Bills signed Von Miller and the Dolphins are making moves and the Jets are making moves, can we expect some hope out of New England to go, get an O lineman, maybe a D lineman, maybe a wide receiver?
It's actually a really curious organization this year. Last year they went guns blazing and they went swinging. The biggest question at the Combine, and it was kind of done in whispers, who the hell is coaching the offense in New England? Because Bill is the de facto guy right now because obviously McDaniels is gone. They took Mick Lombardi with him. And the question is all right, and then they traded Shaq Mason, who I think is still a very good player and was 5 years there. And you've got a young quarterback in Mac Jones. So no McDaniels anymore, no Mick Lombardi anymore. They did bring in Joe Judge, who's not technically a quarterback's guy, never has been. Is he going to be the one in the ear of a young second-year quarterback in a loaded AFC? No. And then the talent drain, Trent Brown's still not signed by anybody. I guess he's not coming back. You go name by name by name, and even the little ones like Brandon Bolden and Jacob Johnson, those are guys that have been Patriot guys that Bill has invested a lot of time in. So Lyle Collins, potentially. I've heard his name thrown around there, and I've heard his name thrown around in other places. I'm not quite sure where we are with the Patriots this year, and I feel like between Ziegler and McDaniels and all the players that have walked out the door this offseason, it's an interesting transition period after we thought last year was a reboot and a recharge for the Patriots.
What about Armstead? Why is he not an Indianapolis Colt yet? Is he sticking around with the Saints to see if Deshaun Watson goes there?
Again, another player. I mean, it's the guy who NFL.com had as the #1 overall free agent.
Yeah, what the fuck does NFL.com know, though? They called us one of the losers of Aaron Rodgers going back to the Packers. Pat McAfee Show. One of the 5 losers of this deal. Yeah.
What kind of shit is that, Pete?
Yeah, what is that? That's the company you work for.
What's that about?
Didn't know that. That's a controversial take. I would say.
Yeah, buy a bum. Okay, 4'6". Shut the fuck up, dude. Never heard of you.
Wow. Don't know who wrote it. I
know. I still don't know his name. He's about yay tall, though.
Yeah, he's a little prick.
Yeah, seems to run his mouth.
So Armstead, back to Armstead.
It's not Siciliano. It's some other. Just a little.
Toronto.
Just shut the fuck up, will you? Just shut the fuck up.
Wait, when did this happen?
Well, after the Packers trade, he said that that my show will no longer be interesting. So we're one of the 5 losers. It's like, hey, little fella, I'm not you, okay? Yeah. Everything that we do is interesting, okay, guy? All right?
Smack you in the mouth.
All right? Now get back into your little baby saddle.
Armstead, I don't know. That's it. All right,
Schrags, you're the man. We appreciate you every time you come by. You're the best. Have an incredible weekend. Please keep us updated on anything that you hear.
Always. I love coming on with you guys. Have an awesome weekend, and the same to you, Pat. Let us know.
You got it. That's AJ, though. AJ hears everything.
AJ, and then he smokes a cigar, and he's like, oh.
Schrags, have fun going to the office on Monday dealing with this character that Pat is killing right here.
He's not in. There's no way they let you guys let him in the office. No, she's probably my boss. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager. I honestly don't know who the guy is. I have no idea. I just saw him sitting on a chair and his legs were fully bent back in the little tiny little bar seat thing. I'm like, this is an adolescent. Okay.
Forgot to ask about the Uzama deal.
All right. Let's get to a break. We'll be back in 4 minutes with some phone.
Arkansas won, pal.
Yeah, Big Ten. Big Ten school.
Ooh, Pig Suey.
Long day. Give me a break.
Not as long a day as Ty Schmidt has had.
Yeah.
Ohio State's up 4. You know why, AJ?
Why is that?
Because the IO. Yeah. You didn't leave out on the pond.
Bingo.
A couple days ago. You're welcome for that.
The Big Ten needs them, don't they?
We're back in. They do. We're back in 4, wrapping up hour 2 here on this glorious Feel Good Friday, March 18th. OH!
We already did this.
IO! Thank you, Connor. They're playing right now.
Come
Jesus
on.
Christ. Sister Jean's about to if you don't, we'll see you in 4.
She's about to pack her bags and go home.
Oh, jeez!
I signed with the Rangers. Marty was one of the first guys to
welcomed me on board, and he was awesome and great friend then and now. And I remember, you remember Marty when I got you confused with another Marty? In Edmonton? Yeah. So we're out in Edmonton, and I don't remember if we were going to see a movie or going out to dinner.
We were going to see a movie. Yep.
We were going to see a movie in Edmonton. So we're at the hotel there. And we're supposed to meet downstairs, right? And like say Marty, we're standing there. I'm like, could go up and change, and they're gonna come downstairs. We'll meet you in. I'll meet you in 20 minutes, and we'll go to this movie. And so I go upstairs, change. I come down. I'm like, dude, I need a coffee. I gotta wake up. So there's a Tim Hortons right down the street. So I start walking to Tim Hortons, and I'm like, I don't want Marty to come down here. It's like I'm like, I don't want Marty to come down here waiting for me. So I just pick up my phone and I type in. You know how when you search in your phone, like I just put Marty. I put Marty B, and so Marty B comes up, and I dial it, and the phone rings, and it rings like 3 or 4 times, and it answers, and someone, Marty's clearly sleeping, like he's sleeping, and I hear, hello? I'm like, Marty, what's up, dude? Hey, I'm walking to Tim Hortons. I'll meet you back in the lobby, and we'll go to the movie. I needed to get a coffee. It's just silent for a second, and he's like, Rupper? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, this is Marty. I go, yeah, I fucking know it's Marty. And he goes, no, do you think you're calling Marty Baron? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, I'm like, Marty, fuck off. Like, I'll be back in a few minutes. And he goes, this is Marty Burdor. And I'm like,
oh, you woke up, bro.
I woke him up from his pregame nap for the Devils. And I was like, oh, and it was just like this weird moment. I'm sitting there and he's like, it's Marty Burdor. I'm like, fuck off. And then it dawned on me, like, no offense, Marty, but you got kind of a very distinguishable voice. Yeah. And I'm like, actually, this guy doesn't sound French at all. And I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, so hope you're well, bud. You good? And he's like, yeah, I'm just sleeping. I'm like, all right, man, take care. And I talk up. I'm like, what the fuck was that? So it was always funny. I had to change in my phone. I had 2 Marty B's and I chose the wrong one there. But hey,
any stories, right, to tell everybody that you have Marty Brodeur on speed dial, like that is excellent.
Joseph Montana, Italian-American out of Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It was a kidnapping attempt of his infant grandchild.
Yeah, in the house. They came into the house, right?
Yeah.
And then he was sitting on top of the stairs. He was like, put the baby down. And they said, no. And he said, ah. And they said, no, I'm taking your granddaughter. He said, ah. And they said, I'm taking it. He goes, you asked for it. Skechers up, Skechers down.
Yeah. Dart.
There's no way.
Then he ran down the stairs, and the baby caught the granddaughter after the beak of the lady that was trying to snatch the baby. Passed out. It was like one of those, boom, and they like dropped it. And Joe Montana, he actually slid down the stairs.
Head first.
You know, like that, how people surf almost down the stairs? He did that and caught his granddaughter like this, and then he picked up the ball, and he actually put foot on kidnapping suspect, called the police with his Bluetooth and waited there.
Unbelievable.
That's fucking Joe Montana, dude.
That's right.
It's a new beat from DJ Griff. Wow. How you feel about it, AJ?
Pretty good. It's no King Cots, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's much better than that shit. Welcome back to the show.
Aaron Rodgers.
Hype like Aaron Rodgers. He tried to hit us with a strike. Tried to take down our entire thing. I mean, he did have quite a catchy hook.
He did. Yeah.
Welcome back to the show. We got about a minute. I did this well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did the break plan really well.
They asked you to do this.
Well, I'm a sellout for serious. People forget. I got too many of those tweets. I almost lost my mind. I'm like, we'll sell out for something maybe, but fucking serious. You don't listen to the show ever if that is the case, you know? Because, I mean, that is certainly not the case. We might be the worst radio show to ever exist.
Possibly.
Except for the score. Score said that we were the best radio show that ever
Oh yeah, we won a.
Thank you, Score.
We won an award.
That's right.
For radio.
Is that the Canadian guys station?
Whoa, no. He's taking a shot at Gabe.
I'm not taking a shot. I thought that's who you were talking about.
You're talking about Gabe Morency?
You're not talking about the raging redhead.
Gabe is the
You
man.
wouldn't.
None of you guys gave him any props like I did.
What?
Talking
Bullshit.
about
Okay.
Shut up.
You were the only guy that wouldn't go on their show at Radio Row.
I'm fucking doing this next year, bro.
Sports Grid stars, Gabe Morency and the Raging Redhead. You should check them out anytime you get a chance. And also Sharepan's on there.
Yeah.
The Sportsbook Consigliere. Those three need to be on Sports Grid for 24 hours straight.
They're pretty close.
We're back in 6. Can't wait for it. See you then. Bye. Nailed it. Dude, we just fucking did radio. All right, let's answer some phone calls. What's that all about? Those Canadian dudes.
Come on.
You speak about
I couldn't
them.
think of his name. I couldn't think of Gabe's name. I could picture him and picture how much positive juice he brings whenever he comes anywhere, especially on our show. But man, yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't get the name.
Bro, how about him coming on our show at Radio Row?
Oh my God!
Fucking go!
And then he
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 leaned down to me.
Yeah.
At one point, he leaned down to me. He's like, "Hey, I don't get one shot, man. Gotta take it."
That was his
He
fucking
swished it.
B-Rabbit moment.
I wanted to have Gabe on, I think, the day before, but then it got like booked. And I was like, Gabe, we got to have you on tomorrow, man. I'm so sorry it didn't work out today. I'll be here.
And he was.
And he was. He's unbelievable. Sports Grid needs to just run them.
Oh, yeah.
Sportsbook Consigliere, Gabe Morency, Raging Redhead.
Boom.
Cam Stewart.
Just, what's that?
Cam Stewart.
Yeah. Just put them out there.
Yeah.
Just have them sit, let them sleep like Truman Show.
Yeah.
Even if they need a nap. I want to see how they go about doing that.
What was that? The Friday night live stream was the most entertaining, hour plus of radio that has ever been recorded. Ever.
I'm fucking doing this.
They were taking down the stages.
That's the goddamn guy vacuuming his prediction for the Super Bowl.
What kind of goddamn Zamboni here?
Who was it, Jeff or Todd, who was sitting in the middle? Tony, and they would not let him.
Took his headset off for him. You're done, Tony.
This is quite an inside.
Yeah.
Somebody should look for that clip. We at the house. Do we really have that clip? Yeah. We should run that clip
Gumpy
for
listens
sure.
to it 18 times a day.
Yeah. So we, with Friday night, we're wrapping up Radio Row. The only thing we had to do left was that other production company's FanDuel party on Saturday night, which I think we should have probably invested a little bit more time and energy into, the creative side of it, but we chose not to, and it did end up kind of biting us in the ass.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, it was fun. Friday night, we were all at the house. California has certain rules. So, I was on cloud 7,000. A lot of the boys were. Was that the night JB came over? No, JB came over Thursday
night.
Yeah.
So that was like wrapping up the week. Everybody was all pretty boozed up. It was like midnight or whatever. It was like 10 o'clock at night local. So it's like 1 a.m. Eastern. And the only show that was still live at Radio Row was Gabe Morency and Raging Redhead. And they were not happy. They were not thrilled about what was going on. They had the big cleaning Zamboni just circling them. Mm-hmm. They were taking out all the stages behind them. They were the last ones in there. And I think watching along on YouTube, there was 60 people.
Yeah.
And we were 10 of them because we all had it on our phone and we had it on our TV. We were watching, just fucking dying. And these dudes quit. They quit. They said, we're not doing this anymore. Fuck this. Yeah. And they walked off. And we were so bummed. We were in the comments like, no.
Come back.
Come on.
Come back.
And then all of a sudden they come sprinting back from whatever. And fuck, McAfee's watching. Guys, this is a bunch of bullshit. We ain't fucking doing this anymore, pal. Here, this was it. This is the greatest, how long? This is the greatest 20 seconds in the history of Radio Row at the Super Bowl. If you realize the only reason the lights are on is because the Zamboni's cleaning. These guys were there before everybody else on Monday night. When we got there, they were there.
Oh, yeah.
And they were the last ones there on Friday. That guy in the middle, I still don't know what his voice sounds like. Because the bald-headed guy on the right, Gabe Morency, and on the far left, the Raging Redhead, just lost their minds. Please run this thing.
Night. I'm dead serious. I'm doing it. I'm getting big time like Pat. I'm not doing this. Yeah, you got to get me on before it's dark out. Otherwise, I'm not doing it.
I like that. I like doing shows in the light before dark.
quit.
Middle of the show.
Mid-show, he quit. They have another 2 hours to do. Take your headset off. You fucking doing it. Oh, bro, what a moment. Man, I was crying laughing at that.
Yeah.
Crying.
Wait, were they? So they're supposed to go 2 more hours. Is this something they normally do? Is just stop?
No. If I do recall properly, and I was in an interesting state of mind at that point, I think they just had fed up and they're like, okay.
It was Friday night. I mean, it was 1 o'clock on the East Coast. They were literally the only show left at that place.
They felt disrespected, I feel like, by everybody, the Zamboni cleaner, the fucking everybody. And they said, we're getting out of there. It's a good 10, 15-minute clip if you ever just find yourself some time. Just here's some dudes that are royally pissed off about what's going on. Ohio State up 22-14.
Wow.
Way to go, AJ. That's because you said
23, I think.
Oh, aren't you? You're just so far ahead of us.
One free throw.
Way to go, AJ. 23.
I wasn't hyping them up going into this tournament. I wasn't hyping up Ohio State.
Yeah, because they got absolutely dog walked by Oral Bobs last
year.
Who cares?
We don't care.
Upset alert right now, 17-14, Jacksonville State over Auburn.
Which is what you took, right?
Oh,
yeah, plus 17 or something like that.
16, yeah.
The interesting thing is AJ didn't even know Ohio State was in the fucking tournament.
No idea.
That's the
yes,
problem.
I did. I knew they were going in, but everyone acted like they weren't going to make it. And what are they? 6th seed?
So you don't even know.
7.
It's on
7.
the
Yeah,
TV.
that's good. That's a good seed.
Well,
West Virginia wasn't even invited into the poo-poo tournament.
Yeah.
So
Hey, you're just lucky Sister Jean's dark magic has run out.
Well, just
Whoa,
wait.
Yeah, what is
dark? It's light magic. She comes from the light side.
Servant of the
She's
Lord.
a nun, Tony.
Depends on what you believe in.
I mean,
What do you believe in?
What
Dark
a
magic?
Jesus.
Lucifer's my guy.
Satanist?
You can't say that on this show.
Diggs is really taking a turn for the dark side, I guess, over
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to that show, AJ Hawk. Hour 3 begins immediately following this beat drop from Twine on this feel-good Phone It In Friday, March 18th. Madness is happening in March. There's college basketball being played all around the country with schools we didn't know that were schools and kids that we didn't know existed. We are now betting handsomely on all of them. The game should be electrifying. Ohio State is up 8 currently over Loyola Chicago, and there is a nun in the building. Sister Jean has made an appearance. What will that mean for the Wexner-led Ohio State Buckeyes? Jacksonville State up 17-16 over Auburn. Delaware Nova to tip off here in about an hour or so. What a magical Friday. AJ Hawk is joining us. He did not know Ohio State had a basketball team, but now he is all about him. AJ, the boys look good for the Buckeyes.
Of course, I knew they had a team. I was in attendance when they beat top-ranked Duke earlier this season, so I'm very aware of what they're doing.
Okay, well, obviously you went there for your kids. You were forced to go there.
My kids were not there. We didn't have enough tickets.
Oh, fuck them kids. Fuck them kids. I'm going down here to go to the Chop House and watch some basketball. AJ Hawk's here. The boys are here at the Toxic table. That kid's been playing for Loyola for 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
That kid that just drained that shot right there for the Ramblers. He's a rambling man. Toxic Table is here. At Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. Tone Diggs is here. One half of the Hammered Down Cowboys. Bubblegum Pino's in the back. The boys behind the glass. Zito, Foxy, Nick. Obviously, Bill is writing code for YouTube. Dirty, Bruce. Everybody's here. We can't thank you enough for joining us. We'll have a giveaway at the end of this hour. Can't wait to announce that. And we might as well hit some phone calls while we watch this game because there's nothing really to talk about that we haven't already talked about.
No. Julio maybe going Packers.
Is that something?
Maybe.
Oh, you just made this up. A lot of people have been doing this. Insiders have been doing, insiders that are trying to make their name for themselves. Somebody just told me, bang, look for this to happen. Yeah. And if it happens, okay, cool, look what I was. And if not, nobody knew this guy was an insider anyways, keep it moving.
On to the next one.
A lot of that on the internet right now.
Too much.
Too much of it. We've been falling for every one of it, but now we're a little bit more veteran in the game, maybe a little bit more lazy as well. We're not tracking all of them, AJ.
I mean, that's kind of how it works, isn't it? Take a shot. If one of them hits, then all of a sudden you get a chance to take another shot, and then that's bam. Next thing you know, you're Adam Schefter.
boom. I think Schefter, you'd have to do it for like 10 years straight.
Is that
Same
what
with
Ari Mirov-
Rappaport as well.
Is that what Ari Mirov did? And then he just wasn't hitting on every single one?
So Ari's not an insider. He's a guy just accrues all the information.
Right,
So
okay.
he's got like that tweet deck thing that is just like never-ending supply of information, and he's like Pelissero of the era.
Ah, okay.
He goes through the memos quickly and is able to digest them and make them, much easier to understand for all the normal layman folks like us. Ohio State's getting trapped.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Can't handle the pressure.
Oh my God. Chuck Liddell. I'm able to do it for you guys. Let's go to the phones here. Matt in Virginia. What's going on, Matt, on the 5-Hour Energy phone line? Go to 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee to receive 10% off. What's going on, Matt? How you doing, huh?
Hey, how we doing, boys?
Keep moving.
All right, hey, I'm a daily viewer, but today I really needed to check in, make sure Ty didn't swan dive off his roof yesterday.
Smart.
Good to see you're still alive, buddy. Hang in there.
Hey there, Ty.
Thanks, I appreciate
Hey,
it.
Ty.
Way to look out for him, Matt.
Hey, Pat. So I'm a lifelong Redskins fan, and I
Whoa.
Oh, I'm getting there. I dabble with the football team, and I told myself if the Commanders make a stupid QB signing, then I'm going to jump ship. And I don't know if I should just be a whore in like a bunch of teams or settle down with a team that I'm not going to get disappointed by.
All right, Matt. Definitely worth it for you to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely worth it. He said he was going to get to it. He got to it.
He got to it.
He definitely got to it. It was certainly worth it.
What did he get to?
Well, I don't know. I think he said he's not in on Carson. Listen, Matt, just like we were, if he wins, you'll be a fan. If not, you'll be pissed.
What's that sweet picture they put out?
Well, take command.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're
Sweet
talking about?
jacket, everything.
That's
The
sweet
one
picture.
he's wearing the jacket and everything.
Connor called him a ketchup and mustard Cheeto yesterday. I cried. Yeah, that was because everybody was going ketchup mustard hot dog, obviously, because that is what he looked like.
Sure.
Adding the Cheeto in there was really next level. Jacksonville State up 3 over Auburn, who allegedly has good point guard play, which is what Jeff Goodman told us.
Yeah, that's why I took him. This prick, he's wrong.
There's 7 minutes left.
Yeah, they're down by 3. I mean, this is a 15 versus
Basketball
2.
doesn't matter till the last minute and a half anyway.
And that takes somewhere between 23 and 45 minutes.
Out of bounds.
College basketball is tough to follow. I mean, there's been a couple games that have been really good. That Iowa game yesterday was awesome. Just watching this guy.
I want to see the Iowa girls team play. Ty, you could turn your attention to them. They have that girl that shoots.
I will, baby.
Court.
Caitlin Clark. Yep, have a sizable bet on them to win as well. But again, it goes back to the same thing. They're not going to win at all. They just won't do it. They're going to get beat.
By who? Connecticut?
I don't know. Who do they play in the second round?
Stanford?
Doesn't
South
matter.
Carolina?
Notre Dame?
Maybe.
Tennessee?
What?
Is Connecticut still undefeated all the time?
I think so, yeah. UConn hasn't lost yet, right? No, they're dead?
Men's or women's?
Women's.
Oh, men's are dead.
Where the fuck have you been?
Gumpy.
Listen.
All boozed up.
Sleeping, man.
Sorry about it. Let's go to Vince in Memphis. What's going on, Memphis?
McMahon.
Hey, boys, how's it going?
Keep it going.
It's a feel-good Friday. What? Beers.
What?
See the sound on your phone. Yeah. AJ, what did you say? What were you saying there, sir? What would you like to talk about, pal?
Hey, guys, I was just calling because I really think that the Packers made a really good decision in trading Adams, as much as it may hurt lifelong fans. But honestly, this offseason, the key was bringing back Rodgers and keeping that top 5 defense together. We re-signed Campbell, which was great. We still got to extend Jair, and we still got to hopefully be able to bring back Douglas. Now, if we, re-signing Adams would have caused a problem. But Aaron's going to score points regardless of who he's got out there. He was an MVP before Adams. He's going to be an MVP after.
Oh, Vince, maybe that's why Davante's done with it, by the way.
Could be.
Because Davante's 50% of the offense. Is that an actual stat? Or
He was like very close to 50% of their offense last year. He caught like 13 balls a game.
And you remember that graphic they had I think it was on Sunday Night Football, of Aaron and Davante and where they rank as far as receptions between, a quarterback wide receiver duo or just a quarterback pass catcher duo.
Now, you know Aaron better than all of us and anybody basically on earth at this point, it feels like. How quick does it take for him to find that, chemistry, just looking at each other and being able to do it? I guess it depends on who the person is, but Aaron, if he was okay with this all, he just assumes that they'll be able to get somebody else in there that he can make magic with? Is that what it is? I assume he's not happy that he doesn't have Davante Adams, but also, they pissed him off, franchise tagged him.
Right. I don't see anyone calling Davante selfish and suggesting he should take less than he could get.
Well, he did, I guess, for his entire career.
2 years.
Yeah, but here's another opportunity, Need you to do it again, Davante.
Could have kept doing it. We'd appreciate that. But they offered him the amount of money. They offered him, they said.
Yeah, is it more so about the fact that Aaron doesn't have, that was a 5-6 year deal? Is it more so about how the fact that Aaron probably doesn't have 5 or 6 more years? And if he were to sign a 5 or 6 year deal in Green Bay, he knows at some point he's going to have to deal with another quarterback.
So I'm paying 7.7% more in state income tax. And I have no idea who my quarterback is here in a few years. I'm going to have Jordan Love throw the rock.
Yeah.
And I don't have to live in Green Bay for 6 months?
Yeah. Or I could build an absolute mansion in Nevada.
Buy one. $12 million.
Yeah, buy one.
Just saw the photo, actually.
Get to reunite with my guy.
It is a gorgeous home that he got. $12 million home that he bought is absolutely gorgeous. Zito, can you pull that up? Zito asked me earlier if we wanted to pull it up. I was like, we shouldn't do that. But it's on the internet. Everybody knows. I thought Zito did some snooping around. Gorgeous home on a golf course out there in Vegas. He's right next to Derek. Look at that.
Oh, my God. Absolutely beautiful.
Now, I will say, you're going to have those blackout curtains, though, because that Vegas sun with all those windows.
Not a lot of privacy either from snoopers.
Looks like Cliff's house.
I mean, that house might even have the button. You might press a button in the windows. All of a sudden, they're like clouded windows. They can turn them on and off.
Oh, I love that. I don't know if it's dark enough for me. I need it to get real dark. Whenever I'm sleeping. Yeah,
blackout curtains.
I need it to be real. Yeah, I need the blackout curtains. Mm-hmm. That's gorgeous, though. Look at the office.
Is that a real picture or is that like a rendering?
It's a real picture.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Is there a Vegas Golden Knights painting on the wall?
Oh, no way. Where?
Where is it, 11th? In that
that pool's sweet. Can I get a diving board in there?
It is. Oh, yeah.
No, that's just, is that a Vegas Golden Night or just a night in general?
I think Vegas.
No, I think that's
is that TV?
signed by Stoner.
Did Stoner own this
Came
house?
with the house.
Oh, was that Flowers' house?
Is that Jackie Ace's? Go to the left, too. That office to the way left.
Oh, they got an indoor-outdoor space.
I just want to let you know, I looked at this house, saw it's $12 million. I thought maybe we pick up and move our entire operation.
To Nevada?
Yeah, we could put a studio
I
right
heard
there.
The Mark house.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Right there. I assume there's a couple more of those types of houses over there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably a buyer's market, too.
I don't think that's a thing right now.
Vegas has always been a buyer's market. Always.
Perfect.
Tyson had that $60 million home.
That's right.
If you have $60 million, it's a buyer's market.
Yeah, Mark Davis, he's getting invested by the IRS, and he's still
built the Allegiance.
Little pool house here to the right.
Yeah, look at that little bar.
That's a pool bar.
Axel can stay there.
Probably a TV right there on the wall, huh?
Yep, looks like it.
All right, Davante, good for you, dude.
Well, Davante!
With them this year in the green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow.
Oh, Anthony Davis. Speaking of that, he must be devastated.
Devastated?
Who?
Anthony Davis, Tony Davis for the LA Lakers. Massive Packers fan. You saying green and yellow reminded me of it because he was.
Anthony Davis is devastated because the Lakers fucking stink.
Well, I think he's way past that. He's been done with the fucking Lakers for a couple months now.
Dude, he rolled up in that Phantom after he signed his new deal.
Oh, yeah.
That guy hasn't made a shot since.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Can't do it.
That's basketball.
Hey, that's basketball.
Yep.
Whenever you're getting your feet rubbed on the way to practice in the back of a Rolls Royce, it is difficult to want to go out there and grind.
Yeah. He don't care.
No, he got a championship.
That's right. He did his thing.
Did you hear we talked to Quentin Richardson yesterday of the Knuckleheads podcast? He was, he talked about Brody, Russell Westbrook, being from L.A., wanting to play for the Lakers and all the pressure that comes with that and the mental, everything. Lakers are dead, AJ. I don't know how much you follow the NBA, but the Lakers are just donezo, dude. It's bad.
Well, I know they've had issues, but are they officially nothing good's going to happen the rest of this year?
Yeah.
Just because they signed a bunch of older superstars, I guess, that maybe past their prime?
Well, literally everybody says it's Anthony Davis's fault. So that's why I'm sure Anthony doesn't give a fuck about the Packers at the moment because he's taking a lot of shrapnel about, not being the guy for the Lakers. But I do wonder, why sometimes it just doesn't work. You look at the Bucks When Tom went there, they were able to bring in a bunch of people. It worked. They won a Super Bowl. You look at the Rams. Matthew Stafford goes there. Odell goes there. They bring in people. Von Miller. It works. They go to the Super Bowl. But sometimes that shit takes some time to really develop a chemistry or a flow and a rhythm. And the Packers might experience that next year.
I don't picture. I mean, maybe, but I don't picture Rodgers walking in with an entire bottle of scotch before every game like the Lakers superstar does.
Well, what if it's week 16 or 17 and there ain't nothing going on?
Yeah. Well, the NBA, too, it's almost like 3 guys is too much. Like even Brooklyn. Like when LeBron won it with Anthony Davis, it was just them 2.
Yeah, but that was in the bubble. People are saying it was fake.
True.
I mean, basketball is just such like isolation. Like, all right, clear out. Let me go to work. And if you have multiple guys that's what they do, how do you win?
Well, pick and roll, James Harden, Joel Embiid.
That's
right.
right.
Now. You need 2, I think.
That's why LeBron and AD were in the fake one.
So they all got their masks on still. What's going on?
Some do, some don't. Like last night, Vermont band had the masks on. I wasn't a big fan of that. I knew they were going to lose as soon as I saw that. But
Indiana cheerleader had her mask on when she got that ball off the top of the backboard.
Did you really?
They also lost.
I believe
They also lost. He
Yeah,
just said.
16-0 maskless schools versus masked schools. So,
that's something.
So who was that? That was Auburn had.
they both do in this game. So I'm sure it's going to be a tie.
Oh, a couple overtimes.
Which Jacksonville? What are you doing?
Where's this game being played at?
First round.
Good question.
How come it's not on the side of the fucking? Do a little research.
I didn't see Ohio State or Loyola wearing a mask because that was in Pittsburgh because we get it.
This is in Greenville, South Carolina.
This is?
Yeah.
I'm going to North Carolina. What's that? Am I going to have to? No.
No. You'll be fine.
At least the band in this one doesn't have to wear them. It's just the cheerleaders.
You're going down Tobacco Road.
I think so.
Tobacco?
Fucking roll.
Hey, Diggs, what's going on in the Ukraine?
All right, let's get to the phones.
AJ, shut up.
Let's go to Garth
I'm
in.
curious. Diggs has a lot of opinions. I just need to know.
Yeah, we don't need to know. Let's go to Garth in Ontario. What's going on, Garth?
Too sensitive.
Well, I wanted to know if Foxy had an opinion on Matthew Stafford's new commercial.
Thank you, Garth. That's a great question. Great commercial as well.
Awesome commercial. You don't see Stafford do a lot of stuff there. He gave a little credit, a little love to Detroit. I felt like I loved it.
And a wink, like, hey, I didn't mean what I just said. It was not awesome.
But why was Stafford using a rotary phone for 12 years when it was fucking 2010 to 2012?
With that being said, it did feel like they took some creative liberties on that. Great actor, though. Great actor.
And a lot of people asked, why did he stay in Detroit for 12 years? So
That's
I don't
what
have
I
an
meant.
answer
That
for
was
that.
And also the fact that I'm seeing Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl winning quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams, on a Samsung Galaxy, right? That's what that was?
AT&T.
Or Google?
AT&T, I think.
It wasn't an iPhone. And I'll tell you, I know why. These fucking iPhones stink.
Yes, they do.
They are so bad.
It's unbelievable.
What's that thing about
Shocker because
Apple?
they made fucking $7 billion from
AirPods and charger cables.
Yeah, just not
They
really.
keep changing the charger cables. The new
Exactly.
that iPad that follows me, the one I have, has a different charger now from all the rest of the things.
because they
the
make
thin one.
$7 billion.
What, USB-C, is that the Oculus one too?
No, it's not even that. It's not even the USB-C. It's another thing on top of that with a little deal in the middle. It's small, but it looks like it's the one you would think it is. Guess what? It's not.
Anytime AJ says deal, I got this internet deal. Well, how about that deal? The ski deal. Anytime he says deal, it means he's been through it.
Oh, he's livid about it.
He is gone. Your usage of deal is very solid. No, you would think it was that, and then it has the whole deal in the middle.
It's true.
Great commercial, though.
Yeah, I loved it.
I think the Google phones, by the way, are starting to
Make a push.
I seen somebody who had
You can't switch.
Oh,
if you have an iPhone, how do you switch? How do you switch away from that?
You gotta have 2 phones like that guy called in.
Yeah, that's not happening for me.
Why?
Can you imagine trying to carry 2 phones, try to make sure 2 phones are charged?
They make cases for it now.
For 2 phones?
Yeah, it's like fucking both sides.
Do you get all the emojis on the Google phone?
Yeah, you do.
How do you get music on that
sends them.
phone?
You just download Spotify.
Why's Buddy?
Why's the buddy?
Lamar Jackson. Yeah. 15, 16,000 retweets on a tweet. Asking a big question.
His teammate responded to. We're just going to leave that one as it is.
Let's go to Jeezy in Detroit. What's going on, Jeezy?
Boys, how you doing?
Keep it moving.
Yo, I'm from Detroit, but I got a question. Why is nobody talking about Huntley, the backup quarterback for the Ravens, going to the Colts? He had a pretty good end to the season, he might settle something for y'all down there.
Jeezy, that's actually a fucking great question, actually, Jeezy. Great name, too, by the way. I'm not sure how the young guy feels about it, but Jeezy is a great nickname. And Jeezy, thank you for calling in. Why isn't Hundley our quarterback right now?
Yeah. They tendered him, I think, too.
We can pay it.
That'd be perfect. That legitimate. Can you imagine a read option with Jonathan Taylor?
Oh. Good call, Jeezy. Fucking call Ballard now.
Yeah.
Let's go to John in South Carolina. John, what's going on? We're watching a game in South Carolina. It seems like people are still rocking masks down there. Is everything okay? Do you guys have a COVID outbreak? Anything we should worry about? Are you okay, John?
Yeah, I'm fine. I ain't had a mask on in 2 years. I don't know why they were. I guess it's good.
All right, John, never heard of COVID. What do you want to talk about, dude?
To the Stooge fan from New Orleans that came on yesterday saying Deshaun's coming there, that's a lie. We all know he's coming home. And we're going to win a Super Bowl with him. And the Colts are getting Matt Ryan and probably going to win a Super Bowl with him.
Oh, 2 Super Bowls.
Thank you, John.
Both teams were winning.
John from South Carolina, he's an Atlanta fan, not a Carolina Panther fan, because the Carolina Panthers were ruled out of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. What are they doing? They got Sam Darnold another year? How come Sam Darnold hasn't come out and said, like,
I want to trade?
I need a fresh beginning.
What's wrong?
Darnold for Baker?
Why? What's a contract tender mean, by the way?
That's what somebody has to match, I believe. And also there's a pick that goes alongside of it if he was to be moved, I believe.
So the Ravens on March 10th extended a 1-year contract tender to Huntley.
And the team can match the contract if he does.
There's like high tenders and like there's different tenders though, right? For different picks, like you have to get a 2nd-round pick if you try to get him or something.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Right.
First,
Those are
2nd,
very
3rd.
good.
Yep.
Chicken tenders are very good.
Ooh.
Hey, do you think the Browns may like the next news we might hear is that Baker signs a long-term extension with Cleveland?
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's how it all ends.
That's how everything is happening. Would you be shocked?
What if that's what Haslam was flying down there to do? And Baker was like, get the fuck out. All right, I don't want anything. Haslam was, I was actually going to offer you a 10-year, $300 million deal. Okay, because we were trying to make it right with you, but I guess you don't want to be here. We can't make it right. $30 billion a year, not enough.
And give it to Case Keenum.
All right, I guess we'll get Case Keenum. But I'm intrigued to watch that whole thing pan out, the Cleveland Browns thing.
And is Baker going to do like a sit-down interview with Barbara Walters or somebody like that?
I don't know if Bob was doing it. Is she doing any interviews anymore?
I don't know.
Is Barbara Walters still around?
I think so.
Okay, Oprah maybe? Isn't it Oprah who
maybe,
interviewed
like
Harry
one.
and his wife?
Yeah, Megan.
Oh, you remember that interview, obviously, because the Crown was called incredibly racist. But she also did the Adele one.
Yes. Yeah.
And also...
A lot of good ones. Will Smith.
Tom Cruise.
Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Zito just told me that Barbara Walters has been active since 2014. Yeah, has not been active since 2014.
Okay.
She's also 92 years old.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She should sit down with Baker. That'd be awesome.
Baker Mayfield and Barbara Walters. Couple beers on the table.
What? It feels like they might draft a quarterback now. Like, fuck it. Just take Matty Corral or somebody else and just use him for a year.
Can we put the draft picks up? When does Cleveland have their pick? We're really mailing it in this hour, by the way. This show fucking stinks.
13.
13, they can get any of the quarterbacks, right? That's what everybody said. And except for Malik Willis, who the odds for him to go to the Lions have gone through the roof.
Yeah, just the number 2 overall pick. So that could mean the Lions are trading. That's kind of what I'm hoping for because I want to stick with Goff for another year, see what he's got.
But you still can. I mean, they say Malik needs some some work.
You didn't believe that.
By the way, you have to stick with Goff.
That's my point.
Yeah.
They're glued to him.
There's like, what do you guys owe him? $55 million this year?
Roughly. I mean, you guys did get rid of Carson. Like, they might just do this. If they find a team that's like, you know what? Yeah, we'll pay the entire Goff contract. You fucking send it.
Of course they would. If they could get someone to pick up the contract, they would. That's why Chris Ballard, that was a genius move, getting Washington to pick up his contract for Carson.
Well, and the Rams felt like they were geniuses because they got the Lions to pick up Goff's contract or whatever.
Well, we got a first-round pick for that. Let's not forget.
Do you remember 4th down, he threw it out of bounds?
Multiple times, Matt. That happened like 2 or 3 times. I'm not kidding.
Live to play the next drive.
Hey, Goff, football.
Come on now.
You throw a punt right now, pal. You're not.
Well, and what's MCDC say when that shit happens? Do you think he even has the conversation with?
Well, that was when Anthony Lynn was the OC. Once MCDC took over, that did not happen ever again.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he's telling Anthony Lynn.
Let's go to Joshua in Jacksonville. What's going on, Joshua?
Hi, the boys. I hope you all are doing well.
Oh,
I was
thank
just
you.
wondering about the issues with the Jags releasing Miles Jack, because Miles Jack ended up signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Steelers ironically also cut Joe Schober, which the Jags just traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers last season.
Thank you, Joshua. That is exactly what happened.
That's a good point.
Holy shit.
Let's go to Tobia.
Do we have an
in
update line?
Germany. Guten Tag, Tobia.
Hey, Pat, what's up?
Ein Gross Bier bitte.
How's the boys?
Ja.
Danke.
Ja, danke.
Danke.
Danke schön.
Keep it down.
Alles gut bei euch?
Bingo.
A little.
I come in Germany when the NFLs come to Germany for the games.
Are we coming?
Yeah, you come to Germany.
What part of Germany are you in?
I'm in Hamburg.
Hamburg.
Beautiful.
Great airport. The Hamburg airport is fucking unbelievable.
Okay.
There was like numerous taps of beers there.
Free?
8 a.m. Yeah. I got a chance to go into the
United
section.
Club?
the club
Yeah.
section. Hamburg airport is fucking beautiful. Where's the game at in Germany?
It's in Munich.
I have some history in Munich. Me and the Bayern München boys. They beat Manchester United, I think, for some championship when I was there, and we had one. I was very pumped for them to win. I was on their side heavy. Germany, I've had a great time in Germany numerous times. I'm a big fan of that place. They all feel bad, it feels like, after what happened.
They better.
Like super nice, like overly nice to Americans almost. It like probably the nicest place I've been to in Europe, to be honest with you, to me personally. Now
Were a lot of them speaking English?
Oh yeah, and you pay 20% tax on everything though. Like 20% tax is just on every single thing that is there.
Also the videos from Beer FA that were coming out a year or two ago. I mean, that looked like a good time.
Yeah, did you go to Oktoberfest?
No, so I could never go because of football, but I think it's either in November or September. It's not actually in.
Yeah, I think it's in November.
But it's also this massive parking lot. I've driven by the parking lot in which Oktoberfest is in. It looks like
Fairgrounds.
Blast.
Massive area. Yeah.
Could play Bjorn.
Yeah,
and
it starts
ping pong.
September 17th. There we
September.
go. When's that game? When the Bucks play over there?
I don't think it's been determined yet.
Yeah, because London's, I think, a little earlier. Because I thought the Packers were like week 4 or 5.
It's tough to get earlier than September 17th.
No, that we're talking about Oktoberfest. So we're just hoping maybe Oktoberfest lines up with the NFL going over there, so then we can be like, we got to go cover
Double dip.
and then we're in our later hosens doing our And then they got
Is that Oktoberfest?
No, then they got the fucking they got the accordions and shit.
Clogs.
And then the beer shot skis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Could watch Beer Fest on the flight over.
What's that? What's the famous place called? There's one in Pittsburgh. Hofbrauhaus. I've been to the original Hofbrauhaus in Munich, which is down in the square, which is like the Bayern Munich stadium's here, and then you walk down tiny roads over there, by the way. A lot of history. Like, you think like our country's old, you go up to fucking the New England area, and you're like, wow, look at this. What a terrible.
Do the servers have paddles there too?
What a disservice. What?
The servers have paddles there?
It's a Beer Fest.
No, in the Hopperhaus in Chicago, if you order shots, they slap you.
I don't think so.
What do you mean? On the butt?
Either or, wherever they get you.
No, but I did see 7 mugs in a hand.
Yeah.
Like I've seen this. I did see the mug thing, and then the soft pretzel was so good. But
how did they feel about like the whole IPA beer situation?
Every town has their own beer. Like almost every place you go to has their own beer. And they say like it's warm. It's not room. It's like room temperature, and it is delightful. I mean, the beers over there are so good. Tim McAfee became a full beer snob after one trip to Germany whenever I was a teenager. Now, I was playing games, so I didn't necessarily have the German vacation that Tim and Sally got to have. But Tim came back, and he was like, I'm not drinking any of this American piss shit. Give me the German beers. It was like, all right, I guess that's true. Because once I started drinking them, they are delicious, like very delightful. But once again, Germany, much nicer to me Did not expect it to be that way. And I've said this numerous times. If you want to know how a country feels about America, drop me in the middle of it. I am just a stereotypical American. I'm going to act the way I'm going to act regardless, whether you like me or not. You can learn quickly on how they feel. Germany, very nice. Ireland was not.
Man.
We talked about this yesterday. Ireland hated me. And in turn, I just assumed they hate Americans. I was called a dumb Yank in Ireland. I don't know, maybe 15x anywhere else I've ever been, including the Paris and France, which were not friendly at all.
French.
I mean, it wasn't at all, but Germany has always been. We should go there.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
We should go over there and beat the shit out of Bjorn Werner in ping pong.
Bingo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stay sober, though.
Well,
it's going to be tough with all those beer taps over
Because
there.
of ping pong?
Yeah, because Bjorn will come in with, like, sweatband. I mean, he'll look like Mike Rupp coming into that thing.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Because he's over there all the time. So that beer that tastes delicious and, the fun times, he's been around it. Me getting dropped in there.
Yeah.
Maybe we go a week and a half early. Let me get that out of my system.
Okay.
And then
we go.
Yeah. Plus,
Or-
then we can adjust the time.
Or if you drink like 15 beers, he has to drink at least 15 to 20 as well.
I've been thinking about that for a lot of competitions. Like, you want to play golf against me? Cool. You got to keep up the amount of weed I smoke and the amount of beers I drink, and then let's have a real fair game, you know?
Yeah.
Ping pong, same exact thing. Also, other show hosts, same thing. The amount of MGs that I eat, you have to do the same thing, and we'll see who can do it. You know, like I think that's an added level of.
I think this will be fun to watch. I feel pretty good about your chances.
I think so too. Now Bjorn is a German, so let's assume he can drink pretty well.
Yeah, he'll probably throw him back.
I've been training for that.
What about if you and Rap played golf? You think? I mean, could you hang with Rap Sheet?
See, that is it. I'd have to smoke him off the course.
Yeah.
Like the drinking, his whole thing he would keep up there probably, but just the amount of like, all right, here you go. Here's another edible.
50.
It is the second hole. Yep. Wait till you get to the third hole. There's gonna be even more.
He's calling the cops on. He's calling the cops on himself by the turn.
I did illegal drugs. Help me. Let's get to a break. Feel Good Friday, Phone It In Friday. We'll continue on the other side. Ohio State's up 7. Auburn's up 8.
We can't be missing
Loyola's missing layups. The Ohio State Buckeyes seem to be in complete control. They lost that Polish guy up there in Loyola.
Krotwig.
Yeah, Krotwig.
Yeah. No mustaches. Need the mustaches.
Yeah.
Doug Eater last night.
It's big for Mojo.
My new favorite player. That dude shot the ball from his thighs. Brought that thing like Steph almost.
Yeah. Splash.
Splash. Splash. He shot his free throws. It was like splash. Coach says he's the best shooter in the country.
Might be right.
I've only seen a kid play basketball one time. I agree.
He was good.
He's unbelievable. I don't think I saw him miss. I don't think the son of a bitch missed.
No.
Not late.
Especially in these big moments. You try to look for like the teams who have the players who won't miss. You said that about Keegan Murray or whatever. I saw people missing backboards and rims in big time moments. It's like, hey, who's going to step up and fucking make a shot?
Do it.
Doug.
Yeah.
Dougie Eater.
Game on the line.
I can love this guy.
Ball player.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes. Hopefully Ohio State can hang on to this lead, right, AJ?
Oh yeah, they'll be fine.
What is this song?
What is
Super
elevator
Mario
music?
Party.
This is Sources by DJ Griff. It does feel like it is a little elevator.
Not all bangers, Griff. Come on.
Nah, he's got range. I like it.
The other one was great.
Yeah.
That's another one. This one's called Cap Space. So you'd think this one would be just about, oh, that bass needs to.
You can see someone moving shit around, though, while listening to this.
Yeah. This means nothing. This is fake. This song we call Cap Space. We be banging, we be riding, we be going, we be thriving. Here's your team and who we signing. It's that guy and oh my God. This one's called TB12.
This one sucks.
This one gave you fucking so many happy moments.
Yeah, past tense.
I like this one.
Shut up.
Me too. I wonder if it'll like stop and then come back. You know?
Peer pressure.
Ask Connor.
Well, I mean, he's not worried about that. He's worried about Deshaun Watson. I don't know who the hell. He's got to see him twice a year now.
Tom Brady ain't worried about nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tom Brady talked to Clyde Christensen, 12 hours after he announced he was coming out of his retirement back to the Buccaneers, and he had a full, hey, we need to work on this, we need to work on this, we need to work on this, let's get to this, we need to sign these guys, let's get on the horn for that guy. He ain't worried about who's going to some other team.
No.
Did you see Debo's tweet last night?
Yeah, he said his conference is getting easier every day. Shout out to Debo Samuel.
He's not lying.
The AFC does appear to be a wagon.
Stacked. I mean, that AFC West is going to be electric all
It's
year.
just like the NFC West was last year, right?
Yeah.
That's how everybody viewed it. If you're going to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to beat a lot of good teams.
Bingo.
That's just how it is. But the AFC does appear to be a tougher road at this moment. We're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls. Also announcing the giveaway for today. Excited to see what the boys come up with. We'll see you in 4. Good luck to Ohio State, huh? Let's keep this thing going.
Here we go, boys.
More phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line as well. Cheers.
It really comes down to, and pardon my French, but giving less fucks. I think that it's a maturity that comes from aging, from making mistakes, from failing, from being too sensitive at times, from taking things too personal at times, and it's about growth and learning not to be indifferent, because I think indifferent people are terrified of making choices, and it's a cold place to live. It's about choosing what to care about, and the things that you do care about, it's less things. It's not trying to be a part of every conversation or get involved in everything or setting yourself up to be offended about certain things. It's caring more about specific things and less things, and with those things, it's finding ways to solve the problems, because true happiness doesn't come from eliminating all problems in your life. I believe it comes from solving the problems that you have and dealing with the pain and the suffering that is natural in life and is a part of life. It's not fleeing from pain and suffering and running from those things and not dealing with the emotional situations. It's looking at those head on and saying, how can I solve these problems and make my life a little bit better? And that's what I've tried to do the last couple of years, and I've talked about in the show as well. It's about perspective. And I truly believe this, when you focus on the things that you have more than the things that you don't have, you allow yourself to let gratitude sink in. And when the gratitude sinks in, it is always accompanied by joy, because you're focusing on the blessings that you have, not on the things that you don't have, the things you wish you had, the way you wish your life was that much better, you wish you had this, you wish you had that. You'll always be unsatisfied. But when you take solace in the fact that you're where you're supposed to be, and that life is going to come at you with pain and suffering and failure and frustrations and mistakes, and just trying to solve those problems and do a little bit better next time, it allows you to, I think, be a little gentler with yourself and admit that you're a human. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to please everybody. There's always going to be a 500-pound elephant of possibly hatred and malice waiting for you, whatever decision you make, and that's just a part of life. You got to deal with it and just try and be better the next time.
So you feel freer, it feels like, huh? You kind of feel free.
Yeah, there's a liberation that comes from caring less about the things that don't really matter in this life, I think. And I will say, if anything, and I know the two of you is the best on this show, and so I won't speak for the other boys, but I'm sure they're very similar. There's a lot of joy in being unapologetically yourself. And I think in life we respect people the most often who are that way, who don't try and change or be different or grow meek in situations that require courage, that go quiet in situations that require communication. And that's what I appreciated in both your friendships, is that you guys have always been yourselves. And Pat, I haven't known you as long as I've known AJ. I sat next to AJ for 9 years, and I have so much love for him and appreciation for the friend that he is. But I always admired and was inspired by the fact that AJ was always himself, and he believed that who he was exactly who he was supposed to be, and he didn't have to be different or put on a face for anybody. He was unabashedly himself, and I think there's a lot to be gained from doing it that way. And what I love about you and the boys is that's who you are. You guys show up every single day, not with an agenda, but with an open mind, and create conversations around important topics, and then you just be yourselves.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on this Feel Good Phone It In Friday, March 18th, 2022. No better way to wrap up this show than with AJ Hawk recapping everything that has happened this week, and not only in the NFL, but in sports as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champion, college football national champion, AJ Hawk. AJ, please let everybody know what they have missed if they're just catching, out of a nap for 4 days.
Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay. Davante is with the Las Vegas Raiders. Baker Mayfield most likely will be signing a long-term extension with the Cleveland Browns here in the next couple days.
Okay, what about Von Miller? What about March Madness?
Von Miller got 6 years, $700 million from the Buffalo Bills. They look like to be a great contender.
Okay.
And Ohio State is going to route old Grandma Jean and send her packing.
Whoa! She serves the Lord. She's
I
not
know,
just
I
a
appreciate
grandma.
it a lot.
She's a sister.
You asshole.
She could bring a whole convent. It's not going to help.
Convent?
This guy.
You can bring Whoopi Goldberg. What was that when she was
Sister Act.
Oh, they had bangers.
Oh, yeah. When Jesus walked, when Jesus walked.
Ain't that right, AJ?
What's that from? Is that Ghost?
Sister Act.
Shut
Close.
up.
She was in Ghost.
I
Loyola
know.
just doesn't look like the same team at all.
They don't.
Nice. I
They
mean,
got
hey,
that same little short little white guy. He's been around a long time. He seems to be a baller, but I don't know any of these other guys.
They're
Where's the
getting
big
smothered.
crot?
Yeah,
Where's
exactly.
Kratwig?
The short guy is nothing without his crat.
Is Kratwig starting for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Should be.
Is he in the NBA?
I do not think so.
What?
Hey, is Brittany
Is
Griner
that
ever coming
funny?
home from Russia?
Nope.
Did you see that video of her handcuffed to, I would assume, whoever's her lawyer over there?
She is so tall.
So tall.
Yeah.
I like wanted to take a look, see what, because I saw a documentary about a Russian jail called Black Dolphin, and I don't think that's where Brittany Griner's staying. That is for their worst inmates over there in Russia, where life is terrible. I assume no life is good in jail, but is Brittany being kept at like a low security?
Said she has a couple roommates. I know that.
Are they playing hoops? What do you think? I mean, 2 more months, they said.
Yeah.
She's facing 5 to 10.
5 to 10.
5 to 10 years, dude. That's crazy. How's that end? I wonder. I don't know.
And it's not nearly as big a story as I thought it might be.
Well, I think that's because there's a lot going on.
Little to no hope in that story as well.
This is like like at the moment, not in the end. You're just talking about at the moment.
Well, I mean, right now, because there was a report about how if anybody's aiding Ukraine, they are also going to be, treated as though they are in the war. So that's kind of a shot at the whole NATO. And if she does have a chance to get out, she has to be pardoned, which wouldn't happen by Russia because
they're
the
dealing
United
with a lot of
States-
other stuff. The person that would do the partying is currently in the middle of a war still.
Yep.
So she legit could get sentenced to 10 years in jail over there?
Man.
Yeah, she can.
I don't know if Brittany's able to use the internet. Probably not, right? She's
Yeah, I
just
guess
sitting over there
no.
all by herself.
Yeah.
Probably.
Golly. I assume she's very mentally tough, right? Because she's an athlete and everything like that. I would not be able to handle that situation well at all.
No way.
I was in jail for 12 hours. I was thinking about escape. And I was in a glass cage with everybody staring at me. I don't know what it would be like not knowing the outcome, knowing that there's a fucking war happening as well.
Right. I mean, being in jail in like a different country is a nightmare. I can imagine. Like being in jail in the United States is one thing. Definitely don't want to do that. But then it's like, oh, I'm in Russia and I'm in jail and I could be in jail for the next 10 years. Yikes.
There'll hopefully be a full documentary on this so we learn what it's like every day. But hope you're okay over there. How about them saying allegedly, by the way, with the vapes? So that's now in the story. The vapes might have been not even like.
Yeah, she's just American.
Yeah.
So, fuck it.
That's a fucking wild situation. I mean, not the right time to be traveling to Russia, I guess, but I assume there was a reason. That's crazy.
Yeah.
She's playing basketball, right?
Was she going there for a camp or for basketball? What do you think?
She was over there. She's over there. She plays for a Russian team, I thought. Or
Yeah,
she
they
did.
make like 40x in Russia and China in the off season.
I remember Taurasi wasn't able to play in the WNBA because of how much money she was making overseas.
Yes.
So she would actually go to WNBA games to watch her friends play, but wasn't allowed to actually play at all. Like, I'm not even allowed to take this money because how much money I'm paid over here. If I get hurt here, they'll be pissed. It's like, you're what? Because how does that make sense? It's a lot bigger subject than what we have the next 10 minutes to describe, I assume.
Kratwig is currently averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds in Antwerp in Belgium, so he's dominating.
That's what
there.
we go. Yeah. He's loved over there, too.
Oh, yeah, in Belgium?
Yeah, absolutely.
Antwerp's beautiful.
I do worry about the Belgian.
What's Belgium? Belgium's the place that has 60% tax, right?
My uncle lives in Belgium,
But
in Antwerp. It's beautiful.
It's like 60% tax, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I just ate and drank.
What did your uncle do to have to leave the United
Something
States?
happened with Belgium. We were talking about something with Belgium, and we thought it was like a super rich. Remember? We were talking about it.
Good waffles and
chocolate.
Beers.
What's he doing over there, Diggs?
He works for Deloitte as a consultant.
Really? What's Deloitte?
Deloitte's like one
CIA,
of the
it
big
sounds
five
like.
firms.
No, yeah, it's one of the accounting firms in the world.
Every time he comes back to visit, Diggs is Belgium for 2 weeks.
Well, that's what Diggs does. He's currently a Cowboy still because
Pretty
Kevin
sweet.
Costner.
That's right. Yeah.
Not from Dance with Wolves.
No, that'd be cool though. Maybe he should transition to.
Why don't you start riding a fucking horse to work?
You should.
Ooh.
What's the deal?
I think they're expensive.
What's the
Are you
Belgium
building
tax?
stables at the igloo?
Was that? Yeah, we enough room. Yeah, we could put a barn up if we need to.
That'd be so cool.
Is that where are you gonna park your plane over there?
Yeah.
All right, land the Hawk.
Helicopter. I'm sure you're going to have a helicopter pad, aren't you?
No, I don't do helicopters, pal.
Oh, yeah. Well, you only to get engaged.
Yeah, well, she set that up, but so like, she didn't know she was getting engaged in it.
So were you scared to death the whole time?
Yes. What are we even talking about? Yeah, I'm looking for pools the entire time. I've been on a helicopter 3 times, and every time I'm on there, I'm like, can we please stay over the neighborhoods and have pools? Because if this thing goes down, I would like to dive and hit the water. You know, I'll do the belly flop like that guy in America's Got Talent.
That's right. Yeah.
He was able to do it from any height and just kind of saved it. So I always had an exit plan, but I guess when you're flying over cliffs and stuff, there's not always pools available. What's going on?
The highest earners in Belgium are taxed at 50% in comparison to 38% of the rest of Europe, mostly.
Yeah, I know so maybe that was for the World Cup we were talking about. I forget what
Yeah.
it was. Because I remember thinking like, oh, I want to go live in Belgium maybe or something. And then I heard that and I was like, oh, okay.
Never mind.
Don't want to go.
During the Euros. That's
yeah,
what we're talking
there
about.
it is, the
Yeah,
Europes.
classic.
We're talking about the Europes. You know, I talk about taxes, you know, and hating them. And I get attacked by people that have never paid a fucking tax in their life, okay, because of what they hear taxes are. I give away a lot of money. I would rather decide where the money goes than the fucking government, and I think that is how a lot of people feel. But nonetheless, I do believe everybody should pay their fair share to take care of everybody.
Yes.
So it's kind of a conflicting feeling there, but it feels as if the government is normally not doing what they're saying with the money that they're getting, you know, because there's a 10-foot hole still, a pothole out there.
Oh, my God, it's massive.
I mean, what is going on?
It's a crater.
I saw a van. This person was driving for their company car, I guess, and they did not care about their company or the van. They actually stopped at the red light in the pothole, and the back left tire was up. The front right was down in there, and they were just sitting there just chilling. I'm like, I actually took a fucking picture. I'm like, this fucking idiot trying to blow out the axle here very clearly. But that is like every single day. And somebody would say, you think tax money will be able to do that? Well, they're fucking taking a lot of money from me. I assume they're taking a lot of money from a lot of people as the road's not fixed.
We're not close enough.
Hey, where's
to the beach.
SmackDown tonight?
Charlotte, North Carolina. That's why I'm worried about the South Carolina little mask thing here, because I don't even know if I got an N95 still. I think I threw them all away whenever I saw that the thing was over. Shit.
When did you see that it was over?
That speech.
Yeah.
Also, they're not wearing N95s. I see some cloth fucking masks in that thing. They're spreading COVID worse than anybody.
So that's interesting. The first row of, because I saw this on the Twitter, the first row, if you're in the first row for media, you have to wear a mask. But if you're in the second row for media, you don't have to wear a mask.
Genius.
Eric, come on. Let's go to Andrew. Do you know what we're referencing there when we say Eric, come on?
No.
That was Kevin Durant's call to the mayor of New York.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Okay.
Eric.
Come on.
I like Durant, man.
He got killed for that. Kevin, people are attacking Kevin. You don't know what you're talking about. And then not a single person on the TV said, so what was he talking about? Well, what he was talking about is that other people from other teams that aren't vaccinated are allowed to come in and play. But Kyrie's not. Unvaccinated people are allowed to come watch the game and sit courtside and do all that. But Kyrie's not allowed to play. Kyrie's actually allowed to go to the game as a spectator, no mask, sit on the court, but he just can't play. Does that not sound like the dumbest thing of all time? It's not about that. It's about not understanding public policy. It's like, all right, I understand that there's...
They didn't hear anything you said. If that's their response, it's not about, they're not listening. Exactly.
Well, I think everything in policy takes a long time, though. So I think that is what they're trying to say. Like, hey, Mayor Eric is probably attempting to do this, but there's a lot of fucking shit that you have to do. The bureaucracy of the world needs to stop, too. But once again, Fantasyland,
Good luck.
reality world.
Wouldn't it be cool to be able to make some policy
I don't like that actually. I don't want that type of
I wouldn't. I don't want that. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think I want that at all. Like people yearn for that type of thing though. Like the people that get into politics, they love that power. And I'm not saying just politics. There's a lot of executives in suits that love power. I've actually heard somebody say, you would like to be wealthy and take care of your family. I'd like to be ridiculously powerful. And I laughed in said person's face and said, I've never heard that before, but I guess there is those humans out there that just want power.
Oh, yeah.
Just power. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that happens.
Well, Gonzo ran into this when he was thinking that'd be cool to, be able to pass bills and stuff like that, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, he was on the wrong end of the scope for both parties.
Yeah. Don't like this job anymore, actually.
Has Gonzo gone into hiding? That's probably smart.
No, I've seen him tweet like he's still in office a few times. Like he's tweeted out links to different things for people.
AJ has seen his tweets.
Respect.
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah,
Gonzo, jeez.
Take it easy. I mean, I know the dude. I know how smart that dude is. It's a shame he had to get out.
Let's go to Doug in Dayton. What's going on in the DYT, Doug?
What's up? How we doing, boys?
Keep
moving, Doug.
I want to talk about the quarterback dominoes that are going to fall after Deshaun Watson probably goes to Atlanta.
Okay, have you always thought he was going to go to Atlanta, or is that just listening to us say he's going to Atlanta? Because the tide has turned.
Pretty much since the report kind of came out that he contacted Atlanta.
That's what I was thinking.
I would assume that he would want to go home.
Doug, me too. Doug, that's what I was thinking as well. But there was a hard push there that he was going to be a Saint, and he met with the Saints again after meeting with the Falcons. The whole world's watching. What do you think happens after he goes to, let's say he goes to the Falcons?
I would say Matt Ryan's probably coming to Indy because I don't think Chris Ballard's going to risk anything going with Baker Mayfield or any of those other guys that haven't really had any success yet.
So what do you think would happen, Doug? You think Matt Ryan would then go to Cleveland if Baker Mayfield was going to end up coming to Indy and Deshaun Watson went to No, I'm just saying.
Matt Ryan to Indy then. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so how would Baker Mayfield come to Indianapolis if Deshaun Watson ends up in Atlanta? There's no avenue for that, right?
Unless the Browns want Matt Ryan.
No, I don't think so.
So it'd be a 4-team trade?
Or there's.
That's
that's why the Matt Ryan to Indy is. It's like, would they just welcome that? Because obviously they know that that's going to happen.
Well, they're not going to take Matt Ryan back. I don't think it's going to be a Deshaun Watson.
No way.
And he has a no trade clause, so he's not saying, I'll go to Houston. I don't think. I mean, it would make sense that Indy would be, a more suitable option.
But how much control does Houston have over the next domino is what you're saying?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Because
could they tell the Falcons after, okay, we give you Deshaun, now you can't do this? Like, I don't know. Is there a precedent for that? I don't know if there is.
But like to what Trace was saying, if they could sweeten the pot or change the terms now that it's kind of a bidding war, would they say to the Saints like, okay, this is what the Falcons do. If you just add another pick, we'll trade him to, if he says it to the Falcons, Caserio, like, hey, this is what the Falcons are offering. Now go to New Orleans and say, just add another pick and we'll trade him to you.
So then Caserio would be in control of where Deshaun goes as opposed to Deshaun?
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of what Schrager was alluding to earlier. Did you hear that the same way, AJ?
Not exactly.
It's like 50-50 though, almost, right? Because Deshaun, he said he'd go to these teams, and it's just them having the final say. Like, we know that, like, maybe you want to go to the Falcons a little more, but we want to send you to New Orleans.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's how this is going to go. Like, it sounds like Deshaun's the one making the decision as opposed to the Houston Texans making the decision. But very interesting that Schrager's brought up Houston maybe saying, oh, okay, now it's just you two. Mm-hmm. What were you offering? What were you offering? Now that's the Houston Texans in control then, right?
Yeah.
So there's still probably so much shit that has to get figured out for this whole thing.
Yeah, and as much as like you want to do right by Deshaun, like last year he kind of just sat out and didn't want to do anything for the Texans. So like obviously they want to keep it kind of cordial, but at the same time it's like, hey, we're not trying to get fucked here.
What did everybody say though? They said that the trade options had to be presentable to the Houston Texans before they even met with Deshaun Watson. So they have to be in a ballpark at least already. But what if Caserio goes, that was a fun game. Now it's 4 first. Yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't want to give it, New Orleans will. And then we'll just kind of bounce.
He could. He has a lot of power, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and that's the business of the NFL. Greg Oden, by the way, courtside watching.
Yeah, baby, Greg. Grad assistant coach.
For Ohio State?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I enjoy watching him play basketball whenever he was healthy.
Oh, monster.
He was so large, so athletic, such a short run as a great dominant big man.
No cartilage in his knee.
Yeah, I guess it's got to be hard to be 7'6" with no cartilage in your knee.
I think he got microfracture like right when he got in the NBA too, where they drill holes in your knee
Oh.
and try to stimulate cartilage growth.
Hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday Madness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and predict a score of
Michigan State tonight?
I don't know. Let's go to a phone call. Let's continue to think on that. Okay. Let's go to Shane in Madison. What's going on, Shane?
Hey, boys. How you doing?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you, Shane?
Not too bad, thanks, mate. Just going to shift gears. Not sure if you boys have touched on it already, but the Men's Australian Football League season is 3 days underway. Rest of the first round on this weekend.
Sharon!
Just want to see what your excitement levels are, and have you also seen Mason Crox's new prescription sunglasses?
Oh, I didn't know he's wearing a visor now. If Mason Coxzilla is wearing a visor, I'm all the way back in the AFL.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure what team he's playing for, if he's still with the Collingwood Magpies or not. But know that we will wet the sails with the AFL.
Yeah, damn right. Matter. Cats are bringing it home.
We will announce what the Feel Good Friday giveaway is immediately upon after hours beginning here at YouTube. Start thinking.
Yep, got it.
AJ, anything to say to the serious listeners before they get Chris Mad Dog Russo?
I hope all of Mad Dog's listeners tune in to watch you and your program tonight, SmackDown.
SmackDown in Charlotte should be electrifying. What is going on tonight?
You get beat up?
Huh?
Are you going to get beat up?
No. What do you think this is? I don't get beat up. What are we
I saw
talking
you jump all over that guy.
Had to. Smacked me in the mouth. Then he stuck around.
Fool me once.
Michael Cole was awesome trying to pull you off of.
He didn't want me to get, punished or whatever, but he smacked me in the mouth, get fucking punched in the face, dude.
Not like this, Pat.
Don't let this punk get to you.
Come on, Pat. Not like this.
Don't let this punk get to you. You got him in Mania. Tone Diggs has an idea for a giveaway. Hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday Madness.
What if they guess the lowest seed? And by lowest, I mean like 16 would be the lowest seed to win today.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, next team to upset.
Yeah. Predict the next upset. There it is.
Boom.
Loyola would count if you put Loyola Chicago in here.
Mm-hmm.
Montana State would also count. Jacksonville State would count. What if there's no just the next one?
Yeah, just next one. So it could be tomorrow, it could be Sunday.
All right, hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday Madness. Put your cash tag in there from Cash App and predict what the next upset will be in this wild March Madness. I don't think it's going to be Loyola. They're hitting step back threes that are 5-6 feet short. At the moment. That's good defense by Ohio State. Angelo Dawkins, one half of the Street Profits, by the way, big Ohio State fan. He sent me a text saying Sister Jean's fucking done. Okay?
Whoa, wow.
So, Ohio State fans are feeling very good about themselves, it appears.
Smart guy, yeah, of course. They feel pretty good. We know it doesn't matter. Whatever happens in regular season doesn't matter.
Okay, doesn't matter who can get hot. Hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday Madness, your cash tag on Cash App, and then what team you think will be the next upset. Whoever gets that right will then be put into a random selection to win.
Yesterday you did.
Can we buy Final Four tickets?
Probably.
Ooh, that's a good one.
SeatGeek.
All right, so a couple Final Four tickets.
Here we go.
All right.
With airfare.
Wow.
Whoa.
With airfare.
Okay.
What airline?
Whatever's the cheapest.
Hopefully the airline doesn't cancel.
Yep.
You're probably flying in middle seat. You're getting there, though.
If you live in New Orleans, maybe you jump to the top of the list.
Connor, by the way, wanted to give away the other day a free pick on Hammered Down.
Yeah.
That's what he said. You get a free pick on Hammered Down.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so we'll have two winners with 2 tickets each.
Okay.
And airfare to the Final Four for whoever gets the next upset accurately predicted with the hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday Madness.
Boom.
Boom.
Pretty damn good.
And we'll give you a couple $100 to spend while you're there.
Whoa. On Bourbon Street.
Greaser.
A couple Bud Light.
You can buy Bud Light or any beer, more specifically, whatever you want to buy. We will not pay for your hotel, though.
No.
We're getting you there.
Yeah.
Okay, sleep in an Uber.
You figure it out.
Gotta draw the line somewhere.
Hey,
Should
stay
buy
at the
one
Chateau
Bud
de
Light
Mont.
with the money, though. At least one.
All right, Gumpy has rules. He likes banking policies.
It does.
All right.
He does. We know.
All right, I'm getting on the road, dude. Hey,
Good luck tonight, man. I hope you. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I assume something's going to happen to advance your program.
Yeah, be careful.
Well, I don't know about any of advancing a program or anything like that, but
I mean, the hatred you guys have for each other. It seems like.
yeah, something's going to happen.
Don't need to
Is he in the
advance
building?
that.
Maybe he's not in the building tonight.
Oh, yeah. You'd be smart not to be.
Hey, if he's not there, there's no problems. Okay?
If he is currently burying a family member, will you please drive a car and wrap a chain around the casket and pull it away?
Classic.
All-time classic. All-time classic.
Greatest wrestling video I've ever seen in my life.
Listen. Who was it?
Big Show.
jumping?
Yeah, Big Show on the back of the casket.
He rode it. He rode the casket.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever the fuck I got to do. If that guy
Who wrote
disrespects me again, probably some genius.
Picasso?
By the way, it wasn't real. It wasn't wrote. What are you? It happened.
That really happened.
I mean, who came up with the idea? Like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. You're going to go.
Big Boss Man on the morning of the funeral. Yeah.
Life happened.
That's true.
I guess God. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who
It's all-
decides?
it all-
I guess
Jesus
anything's
Christ.
possible with you
It's
and
his
Mr.
plan.
Theory.
Buddha?
Don't mister. He's like a child. That guy.
Yeah, he's a kid.
He's a punk.
Maybe some
Fucking
knuckles.
loser.
Maybe some knuckles.
If Michael Cole rips off his suit and he has the singlet and the headgear on, I am in. Is this what your opponent does?
That's what I do.
Yeah.
You know what this is?
No.
This is a precursor to CTE City.
Hell yeah.
So whenever you see this going, it's a fucking problem.
Dead.
Turn it up.
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating.
Come over here, you get your first concussion, Hawk.
Hey, you see what I did to Austin Theory last week? I did that to you too. You want to keep running your fucking mouth.
If you keep jumping up on chairs and desks to try to jump on me, I'm taking your legs out as you're in the air.
What are you going to do? You going to cut me like this? Nah. I'm coming down, cuz. Imagine his thought, though, as I'm, oh, shit, this guy's in the air right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's what I do. I stellar attack.
I've made a huge mistake. Is probably what he was thinking.
Fucking jungle cat, dude.
In that Oculus, too. I mean, these
Oh, yeah.
You're like a little macaque taking over the tribe.
Listen, I'm not scared to climb the totem pole of power if it has to happen. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? And if I'm the macaque that's getting smacked in the mouth by a higher macaque or whatever, you're goddamn right, my macaqueness will fucking alpha your macaqueness.
Mhm.
Okay? I didn't want to do that. I wanted to talk about the Intercontinental Championship. This fucking guy comes waltzing out here. They put a chair down for him, too. I'm like, who's...
Who did
The
that?
chairperson, by the way, I thought was my guy. I'm like, why
Turns
are you
out.
even fucking giving this guy a seat right here? Not supposed to be
What
here.
the fuck?
Exactly. Have a little respect for the Intercontinental Championship, too. What are we even doing here?
Should have pulled the chair out from underneath it when he was about to sit down.
There's a wall.
Classic schoolboy. Should have done that.
No, I meant the chair guy should have.
If you had a gourd, maybe.
What if he's
Hey, the schoolboys where you get Michael Cole on all fours behind him and you push him over.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
That would be a sweet
Tabletop?
Yeah, a little table.
Stick his head in the toilet.
Swirlies.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
I mean, what am I supposed to do?
The great thing is all of these things that we're throwing out are legit options. Like this could happen.
Bingo. See you
You
tonight on
may
SmackDown.
be giving him a swirly.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm not scared to do it. By the way, beat his ass in a Rolex last week. Nobody said
No big
that.
deal.
And boots.
Nobody said, and cowboy boots, which I got on again. Listen, these aren't meant to be my ass-kicking boots, but I guess they fucking will be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? These are supposed to just be the show Lucchese's cowboy boots. The commentator cowboy. That's what it's supposed to be. But they've turned into my ass-kicking boots, I guess.
sometimes that happens.
Not a lot of grip. Hopefully get these things a little tightened up tonight. Go and get some gravel.
Yeah.
Almost slipped off the desk.
Maybe
Get some pine tar in the bottom of this.
Oh, yeah.
some glue.
Maybe I show up with a bat, too.
Oh,
Might as well.
Yes.
Because I don't know who's on my side over there either. Michael
Wrap a
Cole's-
bat with a barbed wire.
All right, I don't know if we have enough time for that.
Put nails through it.
Yeah.
Carbon wood.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, Austin Theory, do it. I fucking dare you. You know what I mean? This is a carbon wood. Okay, this thing will bash your fucking brains in, Austin.
It ain't breaking.
You want to make the WrestleMania or not, fucking stay home, Austin Theory.
Is there any truth to the rumor? I heard that you're doing one of those tack matches where they put tacks all over the ground.
Super humming match?
I am not. I am not a part of that. All right, see you guys tonight, SmackDown. Hammer Down's in about 15-20.
Yeah.
You all are the best. Good job, Ohio State. I bet a lot of money on them.
There
Up
you
10.
go.
Stripping things. We'll see you guys tomorrow, Monday. You guys are the best. Bye.